We're live.
Hello and welcome to Plat VALORANT episode 265. I've assembled the finest brains alongside TMV to come together and discuss what's happening this week as all of the regions start to, or have already, get towards the end of stage one. We've had incredible road shows. We've had no audiences. We've had everything. We've had everything this week. We've had some things functioning, some things not functioning. We've had great matches. We've had crap matches. We've had the entire lot. Slicky, from your position as a venerated co-streamer, how's your experience been just getting absolutely rinsed with like game after game after game in these past couple of weeks?
It's been all right because when I needed the sleep, every America's team just 2-0'd and it was like stomps, like really fast.
Yeah.
Ended up getting like the average amount of sleep that you're meant to get. It was pretty cool actually. And then Pacific was like 2 hours later. This is a nice schedule. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
And TMV, in your opinion, as a not particularly venerated co-streamer,
God, you're starting out hot in this episode, aren't
Yeah,
you?
dude, that's 2 already.
Yeah.
Why did you not go to Ho Chi Minh? You missed out, bro. You missed out.
I didn't like. I have sent my passport. I don't have a passport currently. I would have just turned up with no passport. How would I have got there? My passport expired. What am I gonna do? I can't get a passport quicker. Well,
You should have thought ahead.
Well,
well, I forgot. Who remembers when their passports expire 10 years later?
I mean,
Dude,
I think
surely
anyone
you
who ever
check it.
uses it.
Surely you check it sometimes. You look at it and go, oh yeah, actually, got a couple of years left.
Surely,
Yeah, but then
Slicky,
I know
you don't go
criminal
anywhere.
that Slee is saying that. Out
I
of
know
all
the
people.
I know the exact date that my passport expires.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
have you
'Cause
just
that's the one
booked
day
some
he's gonna have
kind
to
of air
leave.
travel?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I still, as much as I don't like to leave the house, I still travel a little bit.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, let's get into our member question then, shall we? Every week the members can ask a question. This week, they've asked something that I think allows us to have a good springboard here for some wider discussion. Are these the strongest first seeds ever? EDG, PaperX, and Team Heretics have locked the first seed for their regions. We don't know exactly whose America's is, but let's say NRG or G2 in this example take the first seed. All of those first seeds in that situation would have either won an international in the last 2 years or lost on map 5 in a grand final, which I think is a really nice thing to give to G2 and Team Heretics to add that in as a similar level. Would this be the strongest lineup of first seeds at any event ever? Do you follow the logic?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I follow the logic. I mean, I think it's reasonable, right? Like you're not looking at at least the first seed team and being like, well, I don't know. We just have no idea what to expect. Like these are teams where you're like, surely they should be able to battle it out, even if they, let's say look a little shaky in their first match or something like that. So I can get behind it. But obviously the other seeds is a totally different story.
Yeah, I think it's like one of the first events where we go, well, this team might not have needed to go into groups to get experience and all that stuff. Like all the teams are like relatively experienced, maybe bar like one player here or there. So I think it's surely the first seed curse.
This is the test.
This is the test.
This is the test.
This
Yeah.
is the test. Yeah, a little meta change in terms of Neon, but
Yeah, a little. I mean, it might be a big
Well,
one.
it depends on your playstyle, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're also, though, conveniently leaving out the team that might disturb their narrative of Leviathan.
Or 100.
Well, yeah.
Well,
we just
yeah,
don't
or
know
100
yet.
Thieves. Yeah, 100 Thieves could still run through the lower bracket. But, I mean, Lev is still in they're still in the
Yeah,
upper zone,
yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, that at that point, there would be more of a discussion around there. In terms of the
But
form
to
of the...
counter
go
that
on.
point, though, it's America's, so G2 are going to win it. G2 are going to have an America's dynasty. They're going to have lost one game. They finished second in kickoff. They won the previous 3. They're going to win this one. It's over. It's a dynasty. It's an America's dynasty.
They do look kind of locked in to win it, to be honest. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and then they'll turn up and do nothing at an international event, and the
Whoa,
America's
whoa,
future
Well,
will
they
stand there.
won't do nothing.
Wait,
They
the
still
nothing
win.
is criminal. I mean, listen, we
finish
always
top
talk about
4.
the...
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. All
Yeah,
right.
if we're talking
No,
about
that's
DRX
great.
6 all the time, we got to give top 4 to G2, right?
Yeah.
That's got to be their
absolutely.
legacy.
That's a great legacy to have for a team that wins everything in the domestic region. What about the form of these teams? Because it's one thing to say they're the most experienced first seeds ever, but strongest also implies something about like the form of these teams coming in. Do you like generally what you're seeing from these top seeds?
2 of them.
Wait,
Wait, which
who's
two?
the other one?
Well, the Americas one, assuming the NRG or G2 win it.
Well, you don't think
Wait,
Heretics look
what?
good?
I think Heretics look okay. I think I would definitely take Paper
You're-
Rex or G2 or
Sure.
I would
Okay.
definitely take them. No, it wouldn't even there'd be a baller's law game, in my opinion.
A
Paper Rex
baller's
and
law
Heretics.
Oh,
game.
you
Yeah.
give him a 30.
Nah,
That's it.
you're
Yeah, I think it would be.
hating at this point. That's crazy.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, we're going to start with Pacific, so you get to talk about a team that you actually respect and like, and and then we'll move on to EMEA, and you can light Mini on fire when he comes in and see if he agrees with you. PaperX, they did it. They ran the gauntlet after getting knocked down by Global Esports like fairly early on. Not to say that it was like the beginning of the bracket or anything, because they already had that bye, but they rebound and dominate basically. They really spanked their opponents in those big matches.
Dude, as soon
Yeah.
as it went to like the different venue, they just had such an advantage. They really did. And this is when we talk about the experience stuff, and people are like, "Oh, is it really that big a deal?" Yeah, it's a giant deal. When you go in front of a crowd that's so loud that you now can't rely on sound itself, like in your ears, because the crowd's just shouting the whole time, and it's pretty much just the first team that makes a plan, because a lot of the time is like a Neon or a Phoenix, and you can just on the fly do something, and then you're eating a flash or a stun. Like the first team to come up with a plan is going to win. And then when people don't have sound and they're not grouped together, PaperX are just making plans instantly, and they're just wrecking people. So I think it's it's the experience diff. It really is, and it's not necessarily the stage fright stuff, which I think kind of comes into it, like nerves from the other teams. I think it's just more the making plans that on the server. The on the server stuff more than people getting nervous.
Yeah, I think it's in line with that. It's also just like how drilled you are, which is funny to say for Paper X because we always joke about it. But obviously, like the reps that they have, right? When push comes to shove, like if someone takes action, they do know how to do it. They just usually don't follow it when they're goofing around, right? So the other teams, it was pretty apparent, especially GE in Full Sense, in that like they weren't doing the things that we saw them do in their runs up to that point in terms of chemistry and whatnot. So I think that goes in hand with the comms in that like being able to do that even without, necessarily even if it's not a specific like anti or anything like that, just being able to adapt to it on the fly.
I also think for Paper X coming into this, like the questions, like for instance, let's take their Ascent comp, right? It's something that they might want to take a look at changing, but I think it's just gonna like again, this is like what happened in Toronto. It's all coalescing to them, right? The Neon is getting nerfed. Like for instance, their Ascent comp I think is so obvious. Like, just put Jing on Phoenix, put something on Jet, Envy Sova, Device Sentinel, and Forsaken Omen. Like, that's probably like gonna be the meta comp, I would even argue, like after maybe the Neon nerf, we'll see. But like that's just such an obvious thing for them to do, and like those are like the holes that you might want to pick in Paper X right now. Like, oh, do they have slight weaknesses on certain maps? Maybe Breeze is another one, but it just seems like so like they're just gonna be set up to maybe even improve if they change some of these comps on some of these maps. And now they've got the time to do it because they're gonna be a first seed as well.
It might be like the best they've ever been prepped wise for a tournament in terms of just maps and the changes that are going on. They use Neon on 2 maps to say that Neon is like fully busted or doesn't suit their players like style. They can change that pretty easy. They're a very flexible team at the moment. And on this one, like what is their worst map at the moment? Pearl? Dude, they look pretty good at Pearl as well. It's not like it's a bad Pearl by any means. So I think it's like the first time where I've kind of looked at their map pool and been like, dude, feel great about every map at the moment. That's really rare for them. It's normally like an Abyss or an Ascent that is like really rough, or it's like a permaban. So they're in a good spot.
I definitely agree with what you were talking about earlier, Sliggy, about them thriving in these like big stage environments by just making plays. It's crazy watching them. Like any play that they go for, it works when you're in front of a big crowd like this. But the uptick in like individual form was ridiculous. I think partly because of that. Who even is their best player at the moment? Because I think if you looked over the whole of stage 1, maybe you would say it was Jing, because he had a couple of games towards the end of the stage where he didn't look that great, but then he's back to doing what he was doing here at Ho Chi Minh. If you only looked at Ho Chi Minh, I think it was Forsaken who won the MVP, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was that supposed to just be the grand final or the whole tournament? Or...
I'm not sure, but I think it's grand final. I think
He was
it's
nuts
always
anyway.
been grand final. Yeah.
He was fantastic. Something though, ever since they swapped this guy to Jet, has just been lighting the world on fire. I don't even know who to pick. I feel like if you did a top 20 kind of thing, like inevitably we will do for London.
It's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard because
What do
it's
you
just
do?
like, yeah, it's like it depends what you prioritize as like the time. Like, are you looking at them for the beginning of stage one? Then it's Jing, like you said, and then now you would have to go for someone consistent. But then I feel like there's a fair amount of them that have been relatively consistent. Because even Jing's still been pretty decent. Like, he's not hitting the crazy numbers, but he's not been on the raise as much as he was at the beginning.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, it's
there
impossible,
rocking
man.
away. Yeah, he's been him and Devi, I think.
Yeah, roll the dice, man. I don't know who the best is at the moment.
I think one thing I did feel though watching the grand finals is that once again it was just such a reminder of just what a bright lights player Forsaken is. Like the confidence he gets when it's bright lights and crowd, like it's totally different. When it's not that loud, the plays he makes look stupid a lot of the times, and he still gets away with it. But here it's like it actually looks genius, and he's getting away with it still. So it's like they peak at different times. But I think if you're looking at someone to close out the tournament, like Forsaken, definitely still probably shines the brightest in that aspect.
Dude, how nice is it watching Jet again? By the way, it's we've seen a couple of this whole weekend. We had like just a couple of rounds. Like something did one, Woot did one where it's just like with the knives, and you're just like, damn. And I know we had a Jet meta for like 2 years, but man, it is one of the most satisfying agents to watch. Yeah, it's so fun.
Tell an MIBR fan that, bro.
I mean, sure. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I guess it depends.
It can be. You're right. It can be.
Yeah.
Oof.
Are Paper Eggs clearly the favorites for this tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Like you can argue for second for sure, and it's probably going to be G2 as well. But they for sure clear favorites. Good map pool. Neon
Good
2
map,
maps, so it's just like they're so ready right now. They're the team to beat.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about some of the teams then that they overcame in order to get to this spot. They've played against Full Sense. We can dig into these games a little bit more now as well. Like, let's talk about the Paper X versus Full Sense game and Full Sense in terms of their run in general, like the game that they played against Global Esports too, because this is a team that I think has done such an incredible job of getting to this position. And listen, if we're going to talk about top players heading into London, Premier's absolutely got to be on everyone's radar as, you know, one of those players that's up towards the top. I guess to just focus on Primi for a moment in the grand finals, there is an enormous difference in terms of his impact in the upper final compared to the grand final. You know, I was looking at the stats and I was watching the game. Forsaken goes 5-1 against him on both of the second 2 maps on Lotus and Fracture. And so I went back through and I looked at those rounds and tried to think to myself, like, you know, is Forsaken like directly shutting him down? And I'm looking and I'm like, well, you know, sometimes, but I wouldn't say that it's like an enormous pattern. Do you think that this is a situation where Paper X have outskilled him, have anticipated him? Like, are they just good enough to go toe-to-toe with him? Was it Primi underperforming with the pressure? Like, what is the reasoning? What is the narrative that you can apply to Primi being like a god up until he went into this grand final?
I would say it's a little bit of everything. Obviously, just you're playing against Paper Rex. You're playing against the most mechanically skilled team in the world, so you know you don't get another chance that you might do against someone else, and that's some of his deaths, right? I do think he underperforms slightly because when you watch him in the other games, he does stuff. I mean, in the upper final against Global, some of the stuff he's doing is outrageously unbelievable stuff that he's consistently pulling out against Global. So I do think then, you know, going from that to his grand final performance, I do think he then underperformed. And it's not just his numbers that you're showing here, Kurt, but some of the actual clips are also unreal of what he was doing in this game against Global. So I do think he just, you know, had a worse day overall. I still think, you know, we talk about Paper Rex, you know, they've mostly been consistent, stuff like that. Well, you know, you can have one bad game, which he did. It just maybe came at an unfortunate time. Because I think if he didn't have a bad game, even if Full Sense lost, he would probably be way up there. I think again, this has made it almost more complex for when we do our top 10 or top 15, whatever players, because he would have been very clearly like,
Top
and
3,
probably
I
still
think.
will be in there for sure. But
Yeah.
he would have been top 3, I think, on most people's lists. But now there's, if
could
you are
put-
just pure recency bias, if you are,
Yeah.
sideshow, pure recency bias, maybe you won't put him as high.
I mean, it is crazy. Like, he was, before Ho Chi Minh, before those top 4 games, he was definitely a top 3 player in the world. And now you could, I think some people might even put 3 Paper X players above him. I think that's a bit crazy, but like,
I mean, before Ho
you could
Chi
make
Minh,
that
after the global game, he was even better.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. The global game is actually the one where, because I've been saying that I think mechanically he's at the top of Pacific, but if I'm building a team, like I don't know if he would be my first
Watch
pick.
this.
Yeah, and then he does
he
crap
just
like this, and I'm
destroyed
like, yeah, actually, I'm an idiot. Like he's actually just the best player in Pacific, just hands down.
He's amazing
So-
at holding angles as well. Like, I think
Yeah, but-
dude, he's so precise and so quick when he's holding those angles.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you said that because I think the biggest difference for both Primi and Full Sense in general against Paper Rex is that they're when they're attacking as a team, like they knew what they were doing because it's their game plan. And Primi, again, normally he's better at holding angles, but he still does his job. But they then get to defense, and the team's not able to adapt. You could very clearly tell that they weren't ready to adapt to what Paper Rex was doing live on the fly. Their attack was always a little bit more coherent. And I think that's just a typical experience gap, right? When you don't have as much, playing in BO5s against the best teams. And then that's when he struggles because he's like now feeling the pressure to try to make hero plays. And Paper X, especially if you're going up like against 2 of them, even Primi's not going to be able to top that. So I think that was a big difference where if he's set up for it and he knows it's coming, like he'll beat you 9 out of 10 times, if not 10 out of 10 times, depending on the opponent. But, the tempo changes and that's something he's going to have to learn.
Yeah, I think because he definitely still overheats quite a lot, but I do think
Yeah.
mechanically, I think mechanically he's probably the best player I've ever seen. I would say. I think the more I watch him, the more I just get convinced that he is just mechanically the best. I think he definitely needs to find his line of like when he can and shouldn't be going aggressive, because sometimes he does just he'll like win a round and then he'll lose the next one and then he'll win a round and lose the next one. So it's a little bit flip-floppy in terms of that. I think what you were saying too earlier, like why did he struggle so much? I think it is a mix of both. Like on his pole, he definitely got antied. I think it's a little bit harder for when they're doing that whole 4-1 thing and he's just left to hold B on his own.
Yeah.
If he played T1 in that environment, I think he would have been wrecked by T1 because you can't have the perfect sound of like dodging the drone to like get a kill and stuff like that because the crowd's so loud. So I think there's a few times where maybe he wouldn't be able to get away with what he was doing. So I think that's the sound issue coming into the environment. Then he's like a little nervous, not too much. I don't think there's too much to do with it. And then it's just the fact that they're doing the same setups and Paper X just go, he is only here. We don't have to worry about any other angle as soon as you see him.
Yeah.
And to be fair to him, like every other round, he was getting 2. Like he was like in the rounds he had to step up, he was doing it. But sometimes he got none, and that wasn't happening in the T1 game.
Yeah.
That's also on the team not changing it up.
They do the same on Lotus too. I mean, Lotus is like they've taken Paper X's composition and tried to run it. And that game was so fun because it was like the little brother getting the shit beaten out of them by the real version of the composition. But it was really fun to watch. I think they tend to be a bit too static on the defense sides as well. I'd like to see them up the tempo. I mean, Fracture's a really obvious example of that too. Like Paper X are way more proactive than Full Sense are on Fracture. But yeah, he's still got Full Sense is still gonna feast on everyone who isn't amazing though. Primi's gonna eat people alive.
Yeah. I think I would still expect them to have a good chance of like going into playoffs, right? Like, yeah, you could get unlucky with a matchup maybe, but I would say that I wouldn't be like worried about their chances to make playoffs.
I'd be surprised if they didn't make playoffs. I would favor them for sure.
And I think a lot of that, like you said, is just like when they get to control the pace on attack, like they know what they're doing. But on defense, they got a little bit shut down. And but I will say this though, the Leaf that they turned around going into playoffs, it should give a lot of Full Sense fans hope that they can now fix that defense side in general going into London, because the turnaround they had with the role swaps and the play calling and all of that was monumental going into playoffs. And so I would assume that they should definitely improve going into London.
Yeah.
I think this game might be
Dude,
good
this-
experience for them too before they get to a big game like this, because
what I was
they've got to look at the VOD of this and be like,
Yes.
wow, they just did things. They literally just did more things than we did, and therefore they won.
Yeah, it literally was that. And but that's what I was saying the whole time, and I think this goes for GE as well, where it's just like it's so nice to get this done with, and then learn from that when going into London, because it's gonna be a very similar environment. And you look at the rounds when they are doing stuff and they are beating PaperX in terms of making plans. There was a good one on Pearl where they hit over towards A site and then they pivoted over towards Arcs. I think maybe the Killjoy was down or something like that. And it was like, dude, when you guys make plans, like, you're winning rounds. And there's enough evidence out there for sitting back, getting wrecked when other teams make plans, and them making plans and winning rounds, that they should just look at that and be like, guys, we just gotta come up with ideas and just do them. It doesn't matter if it's dumb ideas. As long as we're doing it together, it's better than sitting still getting wrecked. So I think it's a great experience to get 3-0'd in this final, as dumb as that sounds. It's like it's
No,
really
but it
good.
is. Yeah. No, it is.
Especially like nerves wise, because you're like, oh, we're gonna look so dumb, and like when you're, especially when it's like a situation like this, like it's so hard to stay in the moment because there's so much going on, and there's so much going on in your head, and you think about the score and you think about the crowd, and then you're doing dumb stuff. But like when it actually happens, you're just like, dude, that wasn't that bad, man. Like, we got wrecked, and you in your head you always think it's gonna be worse than it is, but afterwards you're just like, that wasn't that bad. We just got owned. So
Yeah.
I do think it's a great experience both on the server and out of the server for all of the players to get owned like this, essentially.
Final point on Full Sense. What would be considered a success for them at Masters London? Like, where do you see this team in terms of their goals, I suppose, is what I'm aiming towards here, because they're not normally one of the squads that you would see in a trophy hunt at a global tournament. They're normally a squad where it's a huge achievement to make it to an international tournament, or, you know, we might be saying, like, if they made playoffs, it's a great achievement. But actually, they seem too good for those old goals now.
Yeah. I think they should be their aim, I think, should be like top 4. I think that's a realistic, like, if they play well, I think that they have that in them to make it. You know, I think there will be probably some teams, you know, your Paper X's, your G2s, maybe your NRGs if they make it. You know, maybe Heretics or if Vitality can get some of that stuff together, you know, and lock in. You know, there might be you know, those top level teams, you know, might be a bit better than them. But I think when they play well and they're playing at their best, I would consider them like the best of the rest, if you want. And I think a top four for the best of the rest is like a realistic goal.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah, in my head, I was just leaving it as top 6, since that's when you get the extra points, and I think that would be a big success. But I guess as the team themselves, top 4, aiming for top 4 makes a lot more sense. Yeah, but then also I would say as fans though, like, just making playoffs, I think like you're passing the bar, right? As much as we say they should be favored, also, you know, then you're meeting first seed, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's just kind of where we see them.
Can you remind me of the points, Choba? Because I hadn't really factored that in at all. Like, what's going on there? You make top 6 in London, you get extra champs points?
3.
Yeah,
right?
You get 3. It's not much, but you know what I mean? It's like a boost to go in, especially with how Pacific is right now.
Yeah.
Like, that can matter a lot.
Like a Choba, he's rooting on that
No,
downfall.
dude, can I just say, everyone was like, dude, what are you worried about? Nongshim has 10 points. They're in champs. I mean, I don't think so. You look at the group draw and the points.
Relax.
I don't think so. I'm just saying. I'm going to be Paper X's biggest fan at Masters London. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, yeah.
12 points.
12
Come
points now.
on,
No, but
12 points.
No,
Worry
no,
about
but
the team on 7
legitimately-
points.
No. Listen. Let me just clarify this for everybody, okay? First of all, I don't want Nongshim to get their own points anyway, because then, like, you're probably not going to do that
Mate,
well. But
that's the only way they're
That's-
qualifying.
bro, what are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about?
No, listen to this. If Full Sense gets 3, they're at 10, right? So they're now only 2 points behind. And then they are and then you have T1 also getting another group where they should get minimum 3 easy wins, if not more. So it's like you add all these together, and then if T1 and Paper X outside of Nongshim aren't the top 2,
but you just gotta hope
then the
Paper
points.
Like Paper X, you just gotta tell
Paper X for
to
sure.
lock in.
No,
Lock in
Paper
during
X will
Space 2.
lock in.
Don't. Yeah,
But I
well,
don't
then
know
there
if
you go.
T1 will.
You'll be fine.
I think T1 will do.
Well,
stupid things again.
T1.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's a later discussion. But for full
do you
sense,
get points
I think it matters.
in the playoffs for Pacific as well? Like stage 2 playoffs, do you get points, or is it only those group stage matches?
Yeah, stage 2.
You get
Depends
points
where
in
you
the-
finish.
It's your
Yeah.
finish. Yeah, it's your finish placement.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be squeaky for you, Chobra. It's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean,
squeaky.
listen. I will say I think it's exciting. Obviously, for me, it kind of sucks, but I think it's exciting because it's like we don't know.
Yeah.
We actually don't know, other than
Yeah.
Paper X probably. So it's a good time to be a Pacific viewer, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, also you just got new teams doing new stuff that they've never done before, like Global Esports making their first ever playoffs and then making it to Masters London. With hindsight, that win over Paper X was like the perfect thing that you could have possibly asked for if you prayed to the gods to get it at that point in time, because I just can't imagine them having got the upset like any time before that, or it doesn't really look like they could get an upset again right now with how Paper X are playing. But my God, they got it when they needed it.
Yeah, I mean it's big, man. I don't think they meant to take the foot off the pedal, but I think again it does happen when you've kind of qualified. But I also strongly believe that they just melted. Like I think we don't use the word crumble that much because it honestly doesn't happen that much, especially when talking about rookie players or new players or that. Dude, they crumbled so hard.
Yeah, but I think I mean, so we know that they brought out all these new comps, right? Or the ones that they haven't used.
Sure.
And so obviously, knowing Frost, you expect, okay, this is something you've prepped. Like you're testing the waters a little bit, not like just completely testing the comp, but you're trying to see, okay, what we've worked on, does this work? We try to catch them off guard at the same time. But also in the press conference afterwards, they directly talk about that, and Frost addresses, like, the players are all just like, well, I should have played better. And Frost is like, okay, but sometimes the problem, he admits, sometimes the problem is when you try to do different comps, you're used to your old protocols and the players aren't ready to like flip that on a switch, and then when push comes to shove, you're doing the old things. And then so he points out to one of the rounds, I forget which number it was, but on Breeze, where they like they push out, was it Breeze? But they push out 2 on the, oh no, it's Haven. They push out 2 seaside and they have the full flank, but then like 3 push out from mid as well. Yeah, and then they're just all sitting there like in the middle of the map, and he's like, what are you guys doing? Like you can tell that that's obviously not what you're supposed to do with that composition and that play, but they're doing things that like each of them are used to doing in their other roles, and then it all combines weirdly. So my question is, obviously good learning experience, but now the question is going to be for them, do you go Frost's route of like, this is what you need to actually lift a trophy, so you guys have to learn to categorize that? Or was this enough proof that this roster isn't ready for that yet, so you just lean hard into one style of play where you can really excel at it? Because when they do, as we saw, they're also really good.
Have we ever seen a team lift the trophy who swap around their comps as much as Frost tries to make his teams?
No, but he's also
teams.
the only one that like really tries that.
Well,
so
I mean,
it's not a fair...
FPX back in the day
Sure.
used to change quite a bit, didn't they?
But when they play Copenhagen, they're actually stuck with the same thing.
I just think it's not a normal thing for teams to try to do. Most of the time, you have a theme, at least on a map, and then I guess like you change things up slowly over time, but you don't normally pivot as hard as Frost makes his teams pivot. I don't mind it in this game though, because I think your chances of being able to beat Paper X, like, you are recognizing you are the underdog in this game.
Yeah.
You've got to do
and it's a free hit.
kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think in this game it was an experiment potentially worth trying. I think it's interesting when Frost plays against Paper X, he seems to try and, contain them almost, with a lot of sentinels and like more defensive comps, if you will. And, generally I don't think that has particularly gone great. I understand, the theory of that makes a lot of, sense. So we're going to try, contain them as best as we can. But I think Paper X are just kind of a beast that there is no containing. They are the dragon from Game of Thrones, they're Drogon. It's over. Don't try.
Yeah, I don't mind the approach though. I think the approach is like good for extending like players' knowledge and potentially how flexible they can be like going on in the future for joining other teams and stuff like that. And if changes happen to the format and there was like bans and stuff, sure, this is a this would be how you kind of have to approach it for sure. But in
Prepping
terms
for
of-
2029.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it is like that. So I don't mind the approach, and I think they do have the coaching stuff that is big enough to do it as well. But sometimes it just really misses.
That's also not what they did in the upper bracket game, right? Like, I think this narrative is only self-contained to the match against Paper Rex. The upper bracket game, they were playing their old compositions and their old stuff, and they just failed to execute it properly. Or honestly, failed to contain Primi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
They
think
just got walloped by Primi.
I think if you were to read into it, I'd assume it was a case of we do what we think can get us to upper finals for a chance to get that first seed, right? But if not, we're gonna try the other things to see if what we've been working on works. See if you guys can handle it, yada yada yada, and then obviously it didn't go very well. So
I think it logically makes sense. Like,
yes,
when we picked this game, the Full Sense Global game, it was split 50-50. People thought like Global had a decent chance of winning, so you play your normal stuff. But going into that lower final game, we would have polled everyone who's going to win. No, we wouldn't have said, "Oh, Global just playing their normal stuff are going to be Paper Rex." No one would have said that. So you might as well go, try triple Senthi unload to see if Paper Rex get confused by it.
Sure.
But then didn't work.
Then how would you extend that into Masters London? Because you're going to be playing against a lot of teams there where you're actually not really sure if you are the favorites or the underdogs. When you match up, if Global Esports is playing a group stage game against, dude, I don't even know. Like, okay, let's say Foot. What should they do?
Well, in that game, there would be a giant underdog. So.
No.
They should generally, I think, just for the most part, you should just stick to your main game plan when it comes to, especially in tournaments where you get games more regularly in general. Like you don't have a ton of time to prep. You don't often have like a week to prep games and stuff. So I think most of the time you should just stick with what you get. I think it's possible to have like if you are struggling on a certain map or if something has gone very wrong and someone's exposed, someone's anti-strategy and it's just completely exposed one of your maps or whatever. It's good to have something to maybe, oh, we could try this. We did play it before once. We do have a rep on this and then see if it works as a curveball. But I think they should just go into the tournament playing mostly whatever they feel most confident on and have the most reps on.
Yeah, I think in an environment that they're not used to, changing comms to like the weirdest stuff isn't gonna feel or isn't gonna add much comfort there. I think you're just overwhelming your players. I would rather, and I think we've kind of seen it with GE as well, especially like the Pearl against Paper X is probably the best example. I would rather you just go for like a solid game plan and then you're playing like that different style where it's like it's not your comp that's different, so everyone still has the comfort of like the agents and they kind of know what they want to do in terms of protocols, but you also just have like this is the style how we want to play. Like we want to take over the mains, or we know they're going to group up so we can push a low aggro. I would prefer them to stick with what we've seen has worked in terms of just different game plans to make it that's your variety instead of the comps.
I want to rewind us a little bit in the bracket and talk about T1 missing out, because that opening game, Paper X versus T1, is, well, not opening, sorry, but the lower bracket game, the qualification game. This was a game that I think everybody had this as the upper finals, basically. Like, these are the two teams that look the best coming out of the Pacific group stage. Two massive upsets happen. I mean, one maybe you could argue a bit bigger than the other with Global beating Paper X, but either way, like two upsets happen, and suddenly this is a lower game elimination match to be able to make it to Masters London. From T1's perspective, how gutting is it that they ended up in this position? Like, do you think they would have been a good representative to go to London?
No. not at this
Wait,
point.
really?
If they had one off of individuals, I would have said no, right? And that's the only way they were gonna win, given how they were playing. It's funny and frustrating at the same time because so one of the days this past weekend, I was watching the LCK games, the League of Legends games, and T1 League was playing that day as well. And it's so funny the parallels that both of their rosters have, where they keep picking these comps that are like not entirely, they're not very Paper Rex, you know what I mean? They're not meant to be show-off comps of just individual prowess. And yet their individuals are playing it as if I just have to make hero plays and take timings. And both of their teams are constantly doing that, except the League team has Faker. That's like the difference. so they get away with it. But the Valorant team, and also they're just doing old school stuff. The timings Meteor's taking, it's still stuck in 2024. The calls Munchkin's making, it's still stuck in 2024.
You say the timings that he's taken, but like the timings that Meteor taking, it's just like it's not even timings a lot of the time. It's just like, bro, you've missed the timing.
I think that's revisionist. I think that's revisionist because you take a look at the timings he takes in 2024. It's not logical at all.
Legit.
My video today was releasing the meteor files about the second half of Split. Meteor files on the second half of Split.
Stop. Hear me out. First of all, obviously the pacing has changed overall, right? But second of all, you talk to a lot of the coaches that had to play Gen.G 2024. And the same feedback was always, dude, Meteor is like the only Korean player that's constantly pushing out of smokes and taking flanks when no other logical player would do that. And it's ridiculous in how he does it. But the difference is A, same pattern, and B, the pacing's changed. And because of both of those combined, now everyone's expecting it. And his aim is also just worse. But
Kurt, can you show round 16 of Split? As just an example, this is the first full gun round of their defense half.
Probably the first of 5 examples I imagine you have on just this map.
Shai went back to this second half. I was in a call with him. He went back and he gave him 4 red cards or something. Go back to the start of this round. Look at this, man. So we're at the start of the round. Show the map if you want. He's in solo mid. First 10 seconds, completely on his own. He's just going to swing on his own and die. This is not a... This is...
No, but you're going to tell me
aggressive...
You're telling me that you didn't see him do this and win in 2024 because people weren't.
But he's not. Like you said, his aim isn't good. And then he did this 3 more times.
I'm not defending him. I'm saying it's bad. I'm saying he's
not winning anything,
bro. I'm saying he's washed, but I'm not saying that he's just being dumb. He's just doing old habits that are now outdated, and he's not good enough for it. Like that's my point. But that he has to change.
I also think there's multiple timings that he goes a little too early, and no joke, I was joking about it in my co-stream. Like if I was the coach here, instead of a timeout button, I wanted a button that would unplug his keyboard, because there were 3 rounds he would win if I unplugged his keyboard, and they would just win from time because he's just getting too aggressive. Like I don't know. I don't know what's going on with his brain right now, but I promise you, when he thinks he has a timing, we used to have this with Yampy, and he would be like, "I have a timing," and then we would watch it back, and I'd be like, "Yampy, what possible timing do you think? Like nothing has happened on the map here for you to have a timing. What possible timing do you think you have?" And I feel like that's with Meteor. He's just like, "Guys, I got a timing. Like I'm going for it." It's like, mate, if I unplug your keyboard, you win 3 rounds on this split game. Crazy.
I liked the first half from them. I thought they actually played a really nice first half, T1, on this map.
This was a winnable game. Like T1 could have won this game.
Super winnable game.
They could have easily won this game, but there he goes again.
This one wasn't as bad.
That one is more like what Chobra's talking about, in my opinion. That is absolutely a timing that I've seen Meteor take
but
before.
I think that's more of it. Like there's dumb ones, but
the first one I genuinely don't understand what he was doing in round 16. Like I actually don't. I don't get that one at all.
Like if you look at Breeze as well, it's like you see him sitting in a smoke and you're like, oh, he's gonna push out again, because like he thinks he has a timing, which you're right, he doesn't. But I don't think he understands that he doesn't anymore, right? Because he used to, but he's stuck in the past, and I mean, I was malding too, because he was stuck in the past, and then that snowballed into Munchkin doing worse things on Breeze, where like he was starting to try to go for like these hero timings, and it was like, well, now you guys have just spiraled out of control, and it really felt like once again Buzz was the only one on the roster that he's on that was just really trying to survive, and it's tough.
I do feel though like some of that, when we're talking about the chaos later on in the game, some of it was being mirrored on Paper X. There were definitely some like wild individual moments on the other side, and to take a bit of a step back, T1 played the closest game that we saw against Paper X. So I came away from this game thinking that T1, it's weird to say because TMV is going to light me up with this fraud-ass team, but I came away from this thinking that T1 might actually be a better representative for Pacific than Global Esports. No, the Paper X, you fucking maniac. What are we talking about here?
Well, that's the kind of level of take that you often give on the show.
I think it's valid, yeah.
No, then Global because of the experience. Now, I'm not saying that T1 deserved it over Global. I'm not saying that at all. But when you get to a big event, I think I think I have more faith in T1 being able to do something.
I'm with you. No, let me back you up because you're
Well, normally you're
going this. I'm not. I'm
normally you're the biggest
T1
T1 of frauds.
I'm normally T1 are complete frauds, and I do agree with your point, Chobra, that in the specific Paper Rex game, you know, they took a lot of individuals, and if they played like that, they probably wouldn't do that amazing. However, across the group stage, there are other games that they've played. I think they've looked better than that. They've been better than most of the time that they have
against
been.
Group Omega Lol.
Oh yeah, against Group Omega, you can. That's fine. That's fair. That's fair. They have an easy group.
Their timings were better against Zeta
That's
division.
sure, but there's an eye test to this show. You can still look good. You can still look good, even if you're playing against plumbers. You know, some teams play close against plumbers, and that's a red flag. This is why I was kind of a bit higher on Full Sense, because when they were playing the plumbers, they're battering the plumbers. This is why I thought RRQ were kind of fraudulent, because when they play the plumbers, you know, the plumbers have a chance. They might win, but the plumbers give them a game. And when plumbers give you a game, that's a bad sign, right?
Okay, let me flip this.
We're mostly kind of playing pretty well, I thought, in the group stage, even if it was against plumbers. I thought they would have done well. I think I agree with you, Josh, because a team like Global, we have seen in the Paper X game, and some of their games in the group stage, their floor is low. Like they have a low floor. When they are bad, it's not good.
So that was my question, though. So would you guys? So this is based on the floor, because are you saying that you have better faith in T1 going deep enough versus actually doing something big? Because ceiling wise, like I would say that GE I have more faith in terms of like hitting it more reliably in their current form.
I don't think I agree with that either, though. I think even in terms of ceiling, like to go back to what the chatter gave us in terms of the Discord question at the beginning, the member question, T1 have done it before, right? They've actually done it before. I still feel like we are quite away from global esports ever lifting a global trophy, though it'd be great experience for them to be at Masters London.
Sure, they're very just inconsistent. That is the thing. But I agree with the, like, if you were to ask me what is the best team that isn't going to London Masters, I would say T1. And I know lots of people would say Fnatic, but I'm pretty sure it's T1.
It's NRG actually.
Yeah, it's gonna be NRG when 100 Thieves lock the fucking. Let's go.
I mean, you never know. You never know.
You never know.
You never know. Just because we've got a tiny bit of time here towards the end of this, can we bring up the groups? What are your thoughts on the groups?
Don't. The groups.
I gotta get it. I gotta get it.
The groups are so good.
No,
did they have the warm balls again? Is that what?
No. I mean, first of all, like they did as much as they could, which I applaud them for. Right? They finally did everything to make sure that the conspiracy theorists can have as little. I mean, you know, tinfoil hats will still come on, but. Oh, dude, don't even get me started. First of all, Group Alpha is a banger. Like, Alpha is one of the most exciting groups I've ever seen in all throughout VCT. And that's great. It sucks for Nongshim, but I still think it's great. But then, dude, how is T1 getting away with this 2 stages in a row, man? Like, what? Like, how are they not in Group A with us? How is this possible? I just do... Dude, like, we're sitting here, Nongshim's sitting here being like, we gotta friggin' lock in. Dude, we got a friggin' banger group. We gotta try our darndest in every single match. And T1's looking at that group being like, guys, I think we could take a vacation. I mean, we're already in playoffs, 3 wins. It's no problem. And then we just make the lower bracket run. We've got more points. It's gonna be okay. Like, this is
At least they have Paper Eggs in their group now.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, they've at least got a team that's
they won't be number 1. They'll be number 2. That's just great.
Don't be sleeping on Team Secret as well right now. I'm telling you.
They're getting better for sure. Secret and Barrel should be better. But, like, come on, guys. Don't rage bait me, man.
I agree. Like, if I could play, you get to play 5 teams right now. I think 4 of them are in Group Omega. And then Zeta. Like, if you wanted 5 easy wins, I want DRX, DFM, Secret,
is Flashback
Barrel,
coming back, Chobra?
Zeta.
Well, my guess is he's going to be a content creator, because I'm going to be so mad if he's coming back as a player after he says he's retiring, because I hate that. But, well, who knows? But surely it's not DRX, though. Like, surely it's not DRX.
At the same time, your group is...
They've
like,
got
Full
some teams
Sense and
that could
Global
collapse.
coming off an international, not ready. Maybe there's a map pool change, stuff like that. Like, you can beat those teams.
This is irrelevant
Gen.G
to Nongshim's position. I just think it's ridiculous that T1's getting away with friggin' highway robbery 2 stages.
I know, I do agree with that, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad that Nongshim has to prove that they're good enough
Yes.
because
Yeah.
otherwise
Yes.
they'd just go to champs and just look fucking crap.
Oh no, I'm with you. I'm with you. For
Mm.
Nongshim, I think, like I said earlier, like I don't want them to barely get by just on lucky group wins, right? Like I want them to actually get better. And if anything, this will reinforce that, like during this break now, right? Of like we really need to lock in. So that's good for. I mean, that's true for everyone in Alpha. So that's good. But yeah.
What a stacked group, man. That's awesome.
I mean, Alpha's exciting though. The stories are good too. Like this group is stacked, man.
I just hope Alpha teams continue to perform well because I could like if you think about the floor of these teams, some of the floors have been poor. I want to see Gen.G actually play well, bro. I want to see Nongshim play like they're a real, contender team. Those are the two in particular.
A real team.
Well, this stage they had a couple of real boy moments, but mostly the strings were attached, weren't they?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to see a bit more. And maybe Group
the
Alpha can be the promised
worst case scenario for Alpha is like Sense and GE going deep enough that they're a little bit burnt out from Masters, and then Gen.G not looking better, and Nongshim still doing the same thing but somehow getting wins. Like that's like the worst case scenario for Group Alpha. So
the
hopefully-
worst case scenario would be if everyone was terrible and my team squeaked some wins. Oh
No,
no!
well, yeah,
please,
because if
no.
everyone's terrible, then Nongshim surely mechanically should be able to get some wins. I mean, if we're losing
Well,
that,
if
that's not
Neon
the
gets nerfed,
worst.
Francis, where does he go? He's just homeless.
No, but this will be it's going to work out. It should work out okay for them because they get like the full change, right? This will be patch 13, so it's initiator Senti buff.
Yeah.
Surely that'll help them.
Surely
Because
that'll
right
help.
now, this is
Surely.
Surely we won't see them put Dombey on initiator all of a sudden.
Before we end the Pacific segment, I did just want to ask quickly as well. In terms of this meta change coming up towards Masters London, are there winners and losers? We've already discussed Paper X, but for global and for full sense,
both
are they
winners.
better or are they worse?
Pacific are all winning. Yeah,
They're
all
winners,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're so heavy, jet pilled, and then whatever
I-
G's doing.
The only one I'd be curious about is Jit Boys. Like, do they
Sure.
still lean heavily into? I guess they could still just lean into double duelist with Raze in other positions.
Phoenix.
Yeah, so they should
Dude,
be fine.
I would
or
say
Phoenix.
that I would say they're pretty good with Raze, Phoenix, Jet, and then just interchange.
Yeah.
Like I
Swap
think
it
they're
around.
fine. I think out of the three, GE have the hardest time.
Yeah, global though have been playing like anti-meta stuff anyway, so I think anti-meta becomes harder when you don't know what the meta is though. Like if you don't exactly know what comps people are running on the way in.
Yeah, that did cross my mind as well, that I thought maybe they were trying to get ahead of it to test how it feels like towards the end of playoffs to see like what do we want to lean into for London. So maybe.
All right. Well, let's go and talk about EMEA, which TMV believes is a fraudulent region. So
I didn't say that, did I?
I mean, at the beginning of the
Wow.
show, you were talking about the teams that you believe are good, and not a single EMEA team crossed thine lips. So
Apart from the one that pays him, I guess. Yeah,
I didn't even mention them at the time.
yeah that's true. Because he knows he can't on this week. He knows he can't this week. He's
Chobra,
gonna stay silent.
thank you for joining us, Chobra. Pacific stays winning by the sound of it. So we'll
Yeah.
let you go, and we'll bring in the fraudulent mini as well.
Sounds good. See you guys later.
All right,
Bye-bye.
peace.
Goodbye.
Yeah, TMV. What's been going on in the paid department, eh? We're not going to talk about foot yet, but I just wanted to get like a just touch on
Vibe check?
Yeah, vibe check.
Limit
Check.
testing.
Limit testing? Maybe they played the. What limits are we testing right now?
How bad they can play.
Okay. I see.
It's good limits. Good. Limits.
Can Yatache win a 1v and it scales up 1v1, 1v2, 1v3,
What
4,
kind of-
5?
yeah,
and he
what
does,
crazy
and he does.
runs.
He completes the gauntlet.
Mini, welcome in. How you doing?
I am very tired, so this might be either my best or worst Plat chat performance of all time. We'll
Okay.
see how it goes.
Lovely.
Well,
What's that? What's on the bookshelf? You gotta always.
Yeah, we
oh
gotta.
yeah, we've got a different view today, haven't
We
we?
gotta
Yeah.
peruse. Have you
Um,
flipped? What's going on here? Is this the
I-
camera that's
I
flipped? Or
don't
have you
know.
changed your whole room?
I'm too tired to know.
Swapped his
I
room.
just she just landed kind of. What have I got there? A lot of non-fiction. Maybe I'll just take a photo and that could be part of the members. You know, that's what you get for being a member of the.
Yeah.
Can you pick out one book? What's one book, Mini?
There's a Murakami there. Norwegian Wood. That's probably one of the last books I read, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Norwegian Wood. TMV went traveling. He's a fan of that, I think.
Four.
No, I like that one.
All right, let's talk about Team Heretics, shall we? They did very well in EMEA. They ran the
Way
entire
too many
lower
on the
bracket.
one show, bro. Calm down.
They ran the
What did I
entire.
do?
I've been working.
It's
I've been
because he
working
hasn't
this
been on
week.
for 2
I know.
weeks. Yeah, it's built up.
I haven't been on the show for 2 weeks, and then also I've been working this week, so I haven't been able to be co-streaming. And normally, bro, this guy's so needy. By the way, where is he? This guy is so needy. If I tried to do a slinky and just co-stream on my own, he's messaging me.
No,
Please get in a Discord call,
You don't
please.
understand. No, this is not the case. No, someone in my chat came in and was like, "Oh, where's Sideshow today?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know. Where is Sideshow?" So I checked to see if you were streaming because sometimes you don't.
Okay.
You know, like when you took a full day off for no reason. Sometimes you
Oh,
don't.
1 day off, crazy.
Yeah, fucking
Oh.
work harder, bitch. But then, so then I was like, I thought it might be somewhat interesting to quickly message you, and you would then like, oh no, I don't want to co-stream with anyone else today. No, that's not me today, or whatever your voice you were putting on at the time. And I was just like, well, that's a bit strange, isn't it? Why is he being like that? And then I thought it'd be funny to kind of just pester you because you were being uppity about like, no,
Uppity.
Discord calls aren't for me.
Uppity.
No.
That's what.
Discord calls aren't for me.
Yeah. I was joining Mumble servers that day. Actually, we were keeping it old school. Team Heretics. They ran the entire lower bracket. In fact, they're the only team that's run the entire lower bracket, apart from, I guess, NRG could do the same in Americas, right? There's no other team that's been able to do that, so that's incredibly impressive from them. At what point did you believe in them? At what point did you think, holy shit, this team actually looks like the best team in EMEA?
Week 3 in groups. Come on now.
Okay. Like, you kept that belief the whole time, did you?
Yeah, not the whole time, but it was definitely there. I
Did you not
at least
get
knew they were
knocked?
going London.
Did you not get knocked when the Eternal Fire game happened? Like I was on the train and then they lost to Eternal Fire and I was like, let's just start doubting again. And then it kind of worked out because that's what happens. You doubt them and they're pretty good.
Yeah, nah, I was believing they were always going to get fed, but I wasn't.
Even when they played Fnatic.
for sure.
Ooh. I gotta say, I wasn't believing
I
in
mean,
the
that was a
Fnatic
pretty
game.
close game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
mean, it was a close game, but they were overall, like from week 3 onwards, they were playing the best Valorant in the EMEA.
They were very excited to get that rematch against Eternal Fire. I thought it was really interesting when I think it was after they beat Fnatic and they did an interview in EMEA where they said, we really want to have this rematch against Eternal Fire because we've developed a lot since the last time we played them, which I think was only like a week before or 2 weeks before or something, but they really believed that they'd like got significantly better in that time period.
That was like that would have been a substantial amount of time for this roster, technically.
Yeah.
Considering Koshmaris was only in, what was it, week 3? So week and a half is actually not, it's quite a lot.
Wasn't it week 2? Because it wasn't week 2 when he had to play the chamber stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
in my prep, like I pretty much just ignored week 2 in
Sure.
all like map VO analysis and all that stuff. I was
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
he's not on Neon, it doesn't really count. So yeah, so I agree that's kind of cool that they developed that much in a week and a half, but like in the grand scheme of things, like it still is Koshmaris like 5 weeks in a team and he's already got to win a fucking trophy. So fair
It's
play.
kind of insane, isn't it?
No, it wasn't the same. But he was very nervous for the first of Eternal Fire game. Like he was definitely nervous. I was seeing him, dude. When you're whiffing judge shots, you know you're nervous for sure. That's like a great tester for it.
I thought he played great in that game, didn't he? Didn't he like by
The
the
first
end
Eternal
of it?
Fire
Was he flying?
game, by the
oh,
end
the
for sure.
first one. You
Yeah,
mean you don't mean the
first
rematch
one.
that they won?
No, not the rematch.
Right. Okay.
I'm
right.
talking first like playoffs game. He was very nervous. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
And then it was just. I think it's like what we were saying a little bit earlier. Like sometimes it's good to just lose and be like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought, and then you can just play normally. Because I thought he was.
By the end of that rematch game, like Koshmaris was everywhere doing all sorts of stuff.
I cannot tell you how playing, like, if you support the team that he is playing against, it is the worst experience of all time if he's popping off. In that game against Foot, like, it's so annoying watching a guy with an Odin Neon fucking run around and destroy everything. It's like, it's genuinely so tilting to watch. When you're supporting the other team and you see this guy just fucking popping off and you're like, is this bullshit at this point if he's done it for the 5th time in the row? Like,
No, it was mad. He literally just looked at the whole last year and he was like, what is the most broken thing right now? We got Brock with the Odin. Danby's beating everyone with the Neon. What if I just into one and just start popping people?
That is not nerfed by the next patch at all, is it?
The slide stuff?
No.
No, because sliding accuracy wasn't changed, and the Odin stuff wasn't changed.
I mean, I was listening to the APAC segment a little bit, and the word on the street is that people don't really think that nerf really matters that much. Like, even Kosh said in an interview that he was like, he prefers the new Neon because I presume he can't int as much. Like, if you're literally, he doesn't bunny hop that much, right?
No,
Like, if you're not a bunny
he doesn't
hopping-
do it that much. No.
In comparison to like the Americas team, not at all.
yeah.
Like, if you're not a bunny hopping Neon, well, there's bunny hopping there, to be fair, so Kurt's kind of done me, but...
I think people don't realize how much they do it, to be honest with you. I think it's
no,
just
I was
like
gonna say
ingrained
that.
in them.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
Essentially.
because even when you're going up slopes, you're doing it to get the extra speed. So.
I'm just the reporter here, I'm not...
No, I've heard people have that take. When the Neon nerf first hit, I had people in my chat saying maybe it'll be a buff because you'll be able to have tighter spacing with your team as you enter. And I'm thinking, what the fuck are you talking about? Just slow down yourself then if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, but these...
It's never better.
Koshmars ain't slowing down, is he? like, at least, like, his Phoenix might be able to catch up with him is, like, a weird code.
Yeah.
And, like, if he's saying it, like...
But for Kosh...
It's interesting.
I mean, for Kosh, like, his most played agent is Neon. That's unusual.
mile.
Yeah, by a country mile. He's got to be the person who's going to stay on Neon the most out of any top team.
But I also feel like their style doesn't get hurt as much. I will say I agree with you when you said you don't kind of realize how much you jump. But if you like look at a lot of the stuff they're doing, it's more. There's definitely more thought in terms of like his pathing when entering sites as well. And I think that they're doing that. Honestly, Lev is maybe doing on Ascent as well. It's just like pre-barrier insta slides to like beat timings and stuff. They do that quite a lot. That stuff still exists. They're not a big relier on we jump around, and then off the info that you get us will then react.
Every clip, he's abusing the air movement, man. Every
No,
clip,
yeah.
he just thinks he
Wait,
isn't.
Because can you still do that jump, or is it bunny hop only?
No,
It's-
that would be knife
it's-
out movement speed.
As soon as you jump, you lose you like go
Yeah.
to normal speed.
Okay.
So like,
I mean, it's probably
Oh.
cool. I would agree with your analysis.
but also, yeah, but he's still going to be good. I mean, he'll still be fine. He's not doing the like Danby wall
Yeah,
weaving
yeah.
entry shit very often.
No Foon.
yeah. Foon's taken a nerf. Was Foon legit? I don't know enough backstory.
Yeah.
Are you sure, Sugi?
He was legit. Dude, do you remember how easy it was to bunny hop in Source?
No, I know, but I thought that there was then later stuff that came out.
Oh, really? I'm pretty sure he was legit. Bro, I used to be.
I mean, I
very
hope he
easy.
is legit. It fucking ruined my
It's more
childhood.
fun,
if he
isn't
wasn't.
it? It's more of a legacy.
It's more funny. I'm pretty sure he's legit, man. I'm gonna keep him
12-year-olds
that
in
way.
the chat, like who
Who the hell is this?
As Team Heretics went deeper, then after they got that qualification win, I mean, first of all, I actually just want to talk about Gen.G in London. Let's fucking go, bro. Let's
Yeah,
fucking
that's
go.
good.
I am a Gen.G fan. I am a Gen.G fishy fan. Something about the guy's like attitude, the way that he pops off in the games, and is like he seems like an uplifting guy to be on a team with, and gives good interviews, and also fucking
He's
sick at the game. I love the
It's
way
so
the yank is.
It's so funny watching Rien's just like they'll win a round. Even Benji didn't even like win the clutch or whatever, but he's then just screaming at the other side, and you just got Rien's like always just looking up at him like, what's he about to say? It's so funny.
There was something even today where I think it was Boo in an interview said that one day Gen.G could become an IGL because he was like praising his. It's about his comms and about like people praising the comms and the listenings, and then Boo basically giving credit that like Gen.G's on track to becoming an IGL one day kind of levels, which is really interesting for EMEA in the long term. I know like not right now, but in like 3 years time, having someone like that be able to maybe transition to that, it gives me a lot of hope for our region when IGLs are a big problem, you know?
Which round was it? Which round was it where he asked permission to call?
The listening, oh dude, on
Do we
Lotus,
remember?
on Lotus, on attack somewhere where we're in a listening, dude. It was the sickest listening because we got like the whole round. It was awesome. But it's, essentially, it's like a mid round. He just goes, "Can I call?" And Boo just goes, Boo waits a second. He just goes, "No." It was so good to shut it down. But it's cool that like he wants to do it. And when you listen into a lot of their comms, he is very vocal and like mid rounding. Even when he's dead, his dead comms are very good. He just starts dead coming for everyone. So it's very, very cool that you can have a player that man, I love the listenings. Holy shit.
The listenings are so good.
I talk about it every week, but I'm like,
I like the way that he
fucking love
doubles up
listenings.
with Koshmaris a lot as well. Is it on Fracture where he was doing a ton of that or something? I can't remember exactly which map it was, but like the twice we had a listening, and both times it was Benji and Kosh that were like doubled up together, and Benji was kind of like microing Kosh around of like how they wanted to take the fights, when they wanted to peek, what they wanted to push on defense.
I mean,
Really
even
good.
to take it back even further, to just give Benji his flowers. Like, I was talking to, it was Mitch or Tom about it, about how Benji could have easily came onto the scene and just decided to be in a good team straight away. But he was like, because of his brand and because of his presence and, you know, Fortnite and stuff. And he just, the decision for him to grind from tier 2 and then do it with kind of authenticity and like actually do it the right way. Like, and the answer, I can't remember, like, I think Mitch asked him, like, why didn't you just go tier 1 straight away? And he was like, I don't want to like go there and then fail and then have to like, you know, be known as that guy. I'd rather do it like the proper way kind of thing. And I just think for someone who's like, he's still so young to like have that kind of outlook and mentality is very impressive.
Even
And
when he go on.
I think even this year I was like quite critical of him, especially at the start of the year. And I think something for him is like, I've always had this thing about Heretics and playoffs and looked at their stats, and Benji is one of the few of them that would always perform in playoffs. And I think that I can't give him enough flowers about how he's like able to just, even through the criticisms and even through like Heretics expectations, that like he's come out looking as good as this. Like he won them so many rounds, and then he's also the heart of the team, it feels like right now.
Yeah. To add on to that, when I was watching him in tier 2, because I was on Ascend at the time and they were playing against Enterprise, who he was on, and like when Ascend would play him, like he wasn't their best player. Like, you know, like Alexic was the guy that, you know, you're worried about for like Enterprise at the time. And I remember like, you know, they were playing against Enterprise, and it's like, because he was playing quite a lot of Jet, and then it's like, oh, Killjoy Fishy is coming out today, like, you know, for the second time. And so like so he wasn't even initially a Sentinel player as well, and like, you know, now you would only associate him with playing that as well. So yeah, if he would have just got dropped in the fire in tier 1, flopping around on Jet or whatever, you know, it probably wouldn't have been great. He needed that experience to kind of to grow.
Do you know what's really cool as well? Is the same listening rounds. So I think this kind of explains a lot about the team as well. There's a lot of players that like would have an ego, and as soon as they want to call around and their IGL says no, they would maybe get a little annoyed about it. But he was so locked in after, you didn't hear like anything about it, and he actually like popped off in the same round that he essentially wanted to call and was told no. So I think that just in a small sense is just so good that he's still just like, sure, you do whatever, and he's just so focused on like the round and what he's going to be doing anyway. So it's a good insight into the team that everyone can kind of have those hard, difficult conversations, be told no when someone else wants to do stuff and is in charge. So yeah, it's a great sign.
Rien's got to be one of those players that we've got up towards the top of any, you know, list about great players too. I feel like he's been outrageous in a lot of their games. I mean, won them the Fnatic game, but also just continued to be nutty across the tournament too.
Yeah, he really was. And like the final, he was relatively quiet, but it's like, man, look at what he did to get him to this stage. Yeah. It's just insane. I mean, he was the reason they won the Fnatic game, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, he was also sick on that first, like he said he was sick on that first day when they lost to Eternal Fire. So I don't even know, like, to be sick on that day, and then you've got a full lower bracket run. Like, I don't know what his health situation was like in that moment, but if he was literally sick at the start of playoffs, then you could easily chalk some of those performances where he was a bit quieter to that, and still fucking popping off to the point where like he looked like the best in the share in the world at different points. I haven't been tracking all the regions as much as the EMEA, but you know, easily one of the best.
Yeah.
What would you say Heretics strengths are coming into Masters London? Like, what if you had to put like the identity on them? What is the unique selling point of Heretics as they come into this tournament?
I think they got one big advantage in that pretty much they're the best Fracture team. We've mentioned this before, but
That's
like
big.
not many
Sure.
other teams are very good at Fracture, and so like that I would say for them is probably like a map that if the other team isn't banning it, they could pick against pretty much anyone and feel confident,
Yeah,
which is great
that
if you're
is
starting
true.
1-0 up.
And they ban Pearl, right? And trust me, EMEA teams would lose Pearl. So they're in a good spot, just map wise.
Yeah, I mean, I think broadly speaking, I think that map theory was something that I highlighted, I think last episode, where there's a few maps where I still think that there's going to be maybe some teething issues, but I think in overall, they're one of the few teams that I can watch right now and actually things make sense in a way that's like, oh, I see this logic narratively through the round. And I think in EMEA, they are the best team at those things right now. It's map theory.
It's
to be honest.
actually mad that Vitality banned their 2 best maps and they still won.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's a crazy good sign.
Yeah.
And they also had a really cool theory as well. I like a lot of their theory. I think the coaches have always been good at this. Like the Vice stuff they had on defense for split was like really cool. They had like the wall would get triggered and they go on top of the wall, but they have the nade at the same time and then swing off of it, and then they just realized what was working on split as well. Carried on having the flash and just fight with it. There's a lot.
I've been
stuff.
waiting for so long to show some really good Vice stuff for the desk, and it was like, I can't do it in this moment. We're about to go to map 5 of
Yeah.
grand final. I
not the
really
time.
want to show all this nerdy shit, but I can't. Let's instead just talk about how sloppy it's getting.
Their ult theory is pretty good as well. Like when I look at the calling, especially if we just want to highlight Boo. I mean, I think he's fragging like one of the best I've seen.
He's going nuts.
Yeah, he's going nuts. He's winning a lot of clutches. Like a lot of clutches, to be honest. So
Abu was so
and-
good in that grand final.
Yeah, no, that's one. Dude, he's honestly his stage one, at least like playoffs, has been really solid. Like really solid. There's maybe like a couple of rounds where they need to get some new ult rounds. Lotus Vice attack is like the one that Vitality countered, where they try and go over towards short A, and they do their ult there. They've done that 3 times in a row with their Vice ult. So there's like a few things where they need to increase their like a strat book in terms of ults, but other than that, I feel like when they're using the ults and the understanding of the round is like really up there.
I have a question. I know I personally think the first season is a massive advantage in general, but like to go into playoffs at a stage. But do you think Heretics are they a team that you think would benefit from that or not benefit from that more than other teams? That makes sense.
I think they so there's certain teams that I think really benefit for it, and I think there's like 2 different reasons why. I think that there's teams that benefit from it if they have experienced players, which is like 4 out of the 5 they do, so I think that's fine. And then also I think there's teams that are very like set strat based. I think Lev is probably my best example, but I think Heretics kind of also falls into that category where they can come up with a lot of new plans, and then if they don't have to show them in the groups, they're suited to not showing all of that stuff. So I think Heretics are like one of the better teams to be fussy.
The only thing is, I think it's just about shaking off the nerves a little bit. Like I know that they do have experience, but like I always have this thing in the back of my head where it's like maybe at that global stage they might just start stressing out a little bit or panicking a little bit and being straight against like they could be playing against a Lev kind of team straight away, and then
getting used to the environment is big. Yeah. I'm not saying, because I agree. I would also like in a team I would rather be the fussy than skip it all, but I can definitely. I mean,
it's not so much like would they rather be groups or not. I think they'd rather be playoffs, but it's like whether they would gain the advantage
from it
more than other teams or something. I'm just that's the only thing I'm worried about. Is that little bit of just like them just getting a bit nervous in their first game or something.
I have more faith in Heretics being fussy than I would Vitality being fussy.
That's fair.
I think that's reasonable. I do think that's reasonable. In terms of the wider EMEA story too, just before we start talking about Vitality, both of these teams, they're on a knife's edge when it comes to the grand finals, but Vitality end up, they had the double map veto, so it definitely looks worse on them this grand finals. But still, you got 2 teams that are doing very well at the moment in EMEA. How does EMEA actually compare though to the other regions? Because if you walk us back a month ago, maybe even only a couple of weeks ago, we were certainly saying that EMEA looked like the weakest of the 3 regions that we generally cover.
Hmm.
Where are you feeling about that now?
Just before we get onto this point, can I just say that these two teams are proof that our current format in group stages is just fucking fraudulent. I mean, these two teams were, like
Yeah.
the Heretics were losing. Vitality were not good at all, for a decent amount of their group stage, and yet now they're qualified.
I mean, Heretics also had a massive roster change.
I mean, yeah, true.
So
They needed the time. Yeah.
Why
if
do
it was
you think
if it was
that's-
kickoff, they would have lost too early to do anything.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is an issue with the format?
Because it's just like, why am I watching these meaningless games?
That is the thing. It's like, yeah, it's hard to
I see,
hype up
yeah.
the games that are
They're
like.
gone anyway next year.
Yeah, I
They
know.
are gone,
I'm saying
they're
that's why it's a good change.
You'd
Yeah,
rather
yeah.
watch Vitality instantly lose in the playoffs and not get the time to fix their stuff, is what you're saying.
Oh, if that's on them, fix it earlier.
No, I okay, sure. I
Okay.
think next year will be better for sure.
Yeah, it will change that stuff.
Where's the level of EMEA at? Though?
Okay.
Good. I would say I'm a lot higher on it because obviously Vitality and Heretics have come out of nowhere. You asked me this week too. I'm just like, holy shit, we were cooked.
Right.
But like now we got two extra teams that actually like look good. And the good thing about the two teams, they're experienced.
Loving
teams,
the post,
they're
like,
experienced
honestly.
players.
It's fantastic.
Is on? Sorry, I'm so fidgety after be doing something.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, I think
know
it's
people are doing
way
edits
better.
right now.
The edits.
Why is Josh just?
He's lost, Minnie. You know why?
I'm staring into perfection. I don't know. What can I tell you? I'm imagining the fan edits.
He's making them.
The other thing that I've been looking at a bit recently is, and I wanted to get your opinion on this, that I want to put it towards the brain trust. EMEA's got a 44% pick rate of Viper, and yet the only map that Team Heretics play it on, as far as I'm aware, is on Breeze. And I mean, we've seen plenty of teams not even play the Viper on Breeze, actually, too. Some of them are playing.
They play
Harbor.
solo Viper. They're even weirder.
Well,
Yeah.
sure.
Where should you play Viper other than Lotus that they don't play it?
Well, Split, most
Split.
people are playing it.
Ah, yeah.
And a lot of people are still playing it on Lotus, too.
Okay. I think they're Split. I think Vitality did an awful job in that game.
Yeah.
Split. I think that is a narrative. I know we're not talking about Vitality quite yet, but like a narrative for them is definitely that Yampi's cooling can break down during a series. Against a no Viper, I think in the first 2 seconds of the round you should be just up middle, and then you've got the whole map. And then from there you could do what you want. Instead, it was a lot of like overthinking the Vice wall on A, I think, and the Vice utility towards A, and a lot of just
Totally.
it's going to A when you know Benji's there most of the time. It was a little bit weird. So I do think that there are holes on that map, and I'll keep saying it, even though they're like 8-1 on Lotus right now. I think the Lotus is also abusable. When I look at Americas with the Vice and the Viper, I think that is the most solid composition by far right now, and I think there's massive holes that can be exploited there too. It's not like instant loss, but it's like I'm very curious. A narrative for me is I think America's Lotus is just the best in the world right now.
Yeah, the best example that I saw of the no Viper getting punished was Eternal Fire against Heretics on Lotus, where they just B all the time, because obviously the B, like there's nothing blocking the B wall now, so it's hard to rotate, and they were just like prodding, and then they were just pushing in, and then you don't have anything to block the after plant. So if they've used all their smokes, they got nothing to block over towards B main. So I do feel like there's a big I would like the game plans to be better when the teams are playing no Vipers.
I mean, that's
where I'm at.
also, I think for Vitality is another point, is like Yampi, again, I don't think identified, or the game plan wasn't identified. They kept like, with that composition that they're playing the Americas Viper Vice.
Mhm.
Why do you want to go 5A against
No,
a
I agree.
team? Like, I don't get it. Like, you have your Viper wall, you get to default out the mound in the B, you break all the util, you push them back from mound, and then you can re-clear A if you want to. And the new route basically gives you A for free. They can't hold you from anywhere.
It's a big difference.
So it's like, why are you sending 5 people A and just letting Heretics sit a player mound when their comp is not good enough to like do anything if you push them back? So
Isn't that on the coaches, Mini? Like game plan and stuff like
was gonna
that.
say that.
It should be coached rather than
they're-
Yampi, shouldn't it?
I think there's some game plan stuff where some of the game plans looked good from Vitality in terms of like, I think in this, maybe like I'd have to go rewatch, but I think some of the early stuff was fine, and then I think there's more of a breakdown is the way I'm reading it. Like like I think it's maybe a bit of both, but it feels sometimes it just feels like the calling gets a bit random to me. I think that, you know, if I'm thinking about my time with Boaster, I think that I don't think I'd need to point some of this stuff out to him because we'd worked together on it for a long time. It's like, oh, they got no Viper on Split. I don't really need to tell him at that point because I'm just like, we know we're on the same page, but he just needs to fucking abuse the fuck out of middle, probably.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit on the coaches, and I think we did see a sign of that as well. I think the Pearl was a good example. I think this was on the final where they weren't like creating pressure over towards B much, and then they called a timeout, and then they started like actually creating pressure over towards B. So I think
that's one big thing is the timeouts. I think everyone was like, basically every time Vitality took a timeout, they pretty much won or went on a bit of a spree. So
yeah.
You know, as much as there might be some game plan issues, there was credit there, I guess.
Sure, but those talks can definitely happen earlier. And I don't know if those talks do happen earlier and they're just like stick to the fucking plan kind of vibes. But they actually do need, like, if that is the thing, they actually do need to stick to the plan, and that is an issue because you shouldn't have to wait for the time.
Should I spoil that? Because I think that I was that thing I think is misinterpreted. It wasn't stick to the game plan. It was in the comms they were making a plan,
making multiple,
so stick to that plan. Yeah. So it wasn't like, because I thought it was like, oh my god, they got a game plan, they're just fucking not.
And they're not doing the game plan. Yeah.
It's good clarification because I had assumed the same thing. I thought Hal was mad that they hadn't been.
Yes, I mean me too.
Yeah,
but I think that is a good. I think that is a when you listen to the Vitality comms, there's a couple of rounds. Like there's one on Haven where they know there's a judge in Garage. They're like grouped outside Garage, I think, and we're listening to the comms. And then like there's like three, like at some point people say we're just gonna go for it. Then like Sayonara throws a molly and he's like, I've mollied him, but he's mollied like part of the choke point, so no one else wants to run in. So then Sayonara like solo goes in, everyone just watches him die. And I think you could see some of the disconnect. I mean, in terms of like if we're talking about general calling, going on to Split. I mean, round 20, Kurt, of Split, if you want to show that one, is like I think the clearest example of a round where it's the one where they don't even end up on a site. They run out of time. They use the whole round. They basically do a tour of the whole of their own spawn, and then just end up going like, oh, let's go B. Oh shit, we can't go B now. Oh, we got fatal. Let's run A. Run A, and then Benji vice ults. It's like, oh shit, and we never even dealt with the wall in heaven, and now I'm just trapped behind. It's like there are. I feel like
that a couple
team,
times from Yampy.
Yeah,
it feels like sometimes, even if what they're initially doing is right, they play a slow style in quite a few of the rounds, and I just feel like, is this you trying to be Fnatic and Boaster, but you don't like know how to do it?
But also, Fnatic and Boaster do have.
Yeah, they have it every so often, but it feels like
it
it happens to this team a lot more, right? So here they've started A, they've come back B, they're gonna go B. It looks like they're about to do a B exec. I do think they actually touched the site here of B. So there goes your wall, there goes your raise. They get hit by some util. Now we get fataled. Now we run all the way back. So at 30 seconds, we're running back to A. They've still got a Vice ult on A. We still haven't dealt with the Vice wall on A. So they finally get here, and it's like, oh, now we get Vice ult. So now let's go through heaven. Oh, now there's a Vice wall. There's no time.
It's the third time they'd found this Vice wall as well.
Yeah.
So it's like they knew about
the Vice in this game. I mean, yeah, this was like people losing their minds.
This does go back to like what Minnie was saying. Like the fact that they're not taking middle early against no Viper comp just means that it's so hard for them to do.
There's so many things in this round. It's like, why don't they have middle? They're getting it for free. Why has Chronicle got an operator? Was a little bit of a thing. And then if they are going to group B, Kron's then lurking mid with the orb. If there's ever the plan to cancel A, Kron needs to be making pressure on A, not sit in middle with an op. And then on top of that, they don't see Vice util on B.
Yeah.
So then you're running into Vice on A. So there's like at least 4 or 5 big issues there. I think to give them some grace, the way I perceived what's happened is their group stage was there was a lot less structure, I think, in their group stage, and it felt like in playoffs there was an active effort to structure things a little bit more, at least mostly on the defense. I think on attack has generally been fine for them, and so I think that a lot of the things I'm seeing where there are gaps or holes, I'm hoping that the time before London is where they fix it, and luckily it was enough to just go and beat Fnatic and get to the finals kind of thing.
Yeah. If we take a step backwards, good lord, this team is like in a way better spot than they were a few weeks back. Like this is, you know, we're now talking about, you know, they didn't quite manage to close out a grand finals when they had double map veto. Like, yeah, that's a fair criticism, but what the fuck? How are we here when they were a hot mess? They were a hot mess.
I think you could go either way with it though, because like last week I was like being the dick where it's like, yeah, but now they are where they should be, and it's like I gotta give them credit for the fact that they have improved, but at the same time,
but if they make
half of my
grand
brain is
finals,
still. You know
if they were losing grand finals, that would be in itself a bit of a narrative that we would hook onto for a team this good. But it would be where we would. You know, that's where we expect them to be, is in the grand finals, competing for these kind of things. So I don't think it's I definitely think it's fair to increase the level of critique based on their performance.
I think it's like we can respect what they were able. Like most teams who start that poorly, given high expectations, I don't think ever turn around.
Yeah.
And so we can give them credit for that turnaround. But now at the same time, I get to be a smug little asshole and just be like, yeah, well. That's kind of what I wanted from you anyway.
Yeah. Rather than the grand finals, let's talk about the game against Foot. And we can start having some conversations leaning towards that direction. But from Vitality's perspective here, first of all, the game against Foot Esports in the upper bracket final, they come away with a win. Big performances from Sayonara. I got to be honest with you, this one's blended into the back of my brain, so I can't even.
This one could have gone anyway. That split, and again, I don't think either of these teams have like a good split.
This is the one where the Pearl Crostali had so many opportunities to be able to close
Foot
out.
should have won this game.
1v1 kind of situations on Pearl.
But definitely should have won this game.
I mean, you would say that.
I would say that, but I would say that because they lost 6 clutches on Pearl, including 4 1v2s. They can't. Foot are cursed on Pearl. The last 2 times that they played Pearl, they throw ungodly rounds. They throw ungodly amount of rounds. They should have just won Pearl, and then they would have won Ascent.
It's coming back to me now as well, though. Vitality had awful post plants on this map, didn't they? They got the spike down and then played the world's most passive post plants, and then didn't have proper protocols for like who was going to clear the diffuse pressure. They would just fall fully off site even when the smoke player was alive, and they'd be they'd be getting scrambled in so many of these rounds.
My overall narrative for Pro is that Vitality were the only team with a defense that could punish. Like, I think EMEA's attack side of Pro is dreadful, and I was hoping to do a segment on it, but I didn't get around to it. And then, like, Vitality's defense was just good enough to punish how bad those attacks were. The Vitality consistently got over 8 rounds of defense almost every single time they played. And then I must have not been locked into this map at all for some reason. I didn't even realize it existed. So I think that I saw that in the grand finals the attack side was starting to slip away from Vitality, and I think they're probably just another team in EMEA that just doesn't quite understand that attack side. I think that the key things to me are leaving the extremities constantly.
Look at this post plan. I mean, look at this, man. The way that they lose this. 2 bullets, he then reloads, he gets off, and then they lose.
But look how bad this was from Vitality to even let Foot in the first place. I know,
but then this was happening consistently.
Vitality were the better team. Vitality were the better team on this map, and then they would throw away the advantages that they created for themselves.
Yeah, but Foot lost 4 1v2s.
I know they did, but they should never have been even given
both pistols too, though.
They did win double pistols.
They did win both pistols. There was 6 clutches. That's more than 2.
Oh, yeah.
What is your guys' read on Sayonara? When I watch this guy, he confuses me so heavy because I think a few weeks ago we were talking about him as well, and he has like amazing performances, destroying people. Also, some of the silliest individual mistakes I've seen from like a player with this much incredible, not just potential, like he's actually realizing his potential too. He is having major impact in these games, and then sometimes 1 in every 5 rounds, maybe something like that, he just trips over his shoelace and just does something.
What kind of ways
mental.
do you see his mistakes? Because I think I saw some on Viper where he just overstays his welcome sometimes, but I don't know.
Haven.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that kind of thing. When he's on Lotus, he had some tragic scenarios where he completely mispositioned himself for a post plant, missed a molly, like let his Viper orb drop, that kind of stuff that was bad. I've written down in my notes round 6 was a particularly bad error, but I can't remember exactly what happened here on Pearl. But there are lots of moments, I think, where he takes a fight where he shouldn't, or positions himself in a way where he's forced to take really awkward fights. And I don't know if it's just something he's going to eventually grow out of, or whether he's got like the silly gene.
Is it only when he's playing Viper though?
No, it's not. He does it on Phoenix, and he does it sometimes on Sova, but less on Sova.
I was gonna say, I think his Sova is really good. Like,
Yeah.
I think his Sova is really good, and I think a lot of the times he kind of realizes that because of the agent he's on, he shouldn't have to die. I think it gets a little bit weird where he feels like I have to anchor the site a bit more or fight the site, and sometimes he sticks around. That's when I view it.
This defensive setup I loved. I think that this is one of the things that Vitality have improved so much. They've just got a setup to crush them in double doors. Really beautiful scenario. 5v3. Goodbye foot. You've been outclassed here.
Goodbye foot. I mean,
Then stun.
You talk about EMEA attack side.
Look at
Why
this.
the fuck going to fucking double doors every fucking round? Bro?
And then Vitality trying to fight back into it, and they whiff a little bit on a blind player who's also like hitting an Astra stun. But it's stuff like this where I think Mitch says in the cast he's like,
Tuesday lose.
yeah, I don't know who loses this round actually, but Mitch says, oh, Robin Hood's died. And I was, it's like, what are you doing there? Why would you make that risk? There's no reason to ever do that. It's just little things like this that confuse me about Sayonara, because most of what he plays, like 90%, maybe 80% of the time, he's a beast. He's an absolute beast.
I think it's just like I was watching him quite a lot on the server, and I think he's very fluid, and he is playing the most like Leo, I think, from a player that I've seen in terms of like being quite safe and passive and disciplined. But then there probably are just brain fart moments, I guess. And then the thing is, he's a Raze, Phoenix, Sova, Viper player right now.
I mean,
as
that
a
is
rookie.
bizarre, isn't it? That is bizarre.
As a rookie on the team with the most amount of pressure maybe in the world right now, or at least
for sure.
top two. And so I think that there's some grace I'm going to give him. I think that a little bit of nerves, I think, at times, honestly. I think that especially in that grand finals.
His comms sound really good whenever he hops.
I was
His
gonna
comms
bring
are
up the
good,
comms.
yeah.
Dude, he's dead coming. Like he's dead coming for Darker and Kron sometimes, and I'm like, holy, like this is big. He's actually, when you listen in, he is their most vocal player for sure.
Just keep playing more of these clips of Foot losing close rounds,
Foot
Kurt.
losing tragic situations. Yeah, I think they lost what? Foot lost 8 game points in this game or something.
Was he really?
I think so, yeah, because they kept winning Pearl. They kept winning the first round on Pearl and OT, and they had 3.
Oh,
They had
of course,
three,
right.
and then they lost
yeah.
2 in this one as
Yeah.
well. I mean, it was unbelievable. Foot should have just won this game. I can't.
Do
believe
you
they
do you
lost.
interpret that as like on another day they just win, or they just literally can't close out, and if they play this again, then they just
On I don't know what it is about Pearl, but on Pearl, it happened against Eternal Fire as well. They lost a fucking tremendous amount of winnable situations. I don't know what it is about that map. I do think they have a problem with their overall mentality of like, you know, they think they're gonna win every fight, so they just take every fight sometimes, and you know they don't win every fight, and they end up losing sometimes. So there's like for instance the clip that Kurt showed before of like Sop pushing into spawn on his, like, you're in a 2v1, you have the other guy's on the other side of the map, you've got all the time to think of whatever setup you want to do, and they end up in one where Sop's pushing spawn and Yeterday's, you know, tucked in a corner. Like, you know, there's just a lot of that. I think that they just lose situations. I mean, the Heretics game, you guys can talk about the Heretics game if you want to. I don't even fucking count. I see that as a global esports. We lost our fucking minds and didn't show up. They were dog shit in that game, but apart from
could you
Yetzer
not
180.
interpret the Vitality game as Yetterjay stepping up like we haven't seen
Yetzer was
before,
really good. Yeah.
and Sociable's firing, and Sop's doing his usual thing? Like, couldn't you be like? Isn't there a kind of mean interpretation of Foot's like top 4 games?
I mean, there is, but I mean, why would you want to be mean?
because I don't want the viewer to expect them to do really well, and then they're like,
I
"Oh,
don't think. I
no."
think after the Heretics performance, most people won't. To be honest,
I
because
think-
they've shown that that's there.
Yeah, but if your
Flaw is
analysis is we just throw that
No,
one to the side.
No, but my worry is that in the Heretics game, Sociable had a bad game. Like, his individual performance wasn't good, and they got destroyed. And I'm a little bit concerned that you know, Sociable has been so good kind of since he came into the team. Like, is that a thing that, like, if Sociable himself, you know, isn't having a good day, we can't as a team have a good day? Because he had an atrocious day. -30 is quite bad over 4
That is
maps.
pretty rough.
Yeah, so
-30 is rough, but for some reason I felt like SOP was like, because SOP was negative, it threw
well,
me
yeah, that
more.
well, yeah,
Like
bad. I mean, that
-30 is
doesn't help.
bad, but like SOP not being top of the scoreboard and being
Yeah.
negative in FKFD and being negative overall. I don't know. Like, I need to go back and watch this game properly, but like I just presume that Heretics had some kind of plan for, yeah, SOP's just gonna push us like an idiot on defense, and maybe we'll catch them out
FUT had a
sometimes.
lot of problems in that Heretics game. I mean,
But that-
like when I'm watching 100 Thieves and play like with Phoenix and like when they played Breeze yesterday. Sorry for skipping out to Americas a bit, but I'm not on Americas, so I'll give my 100 Thieves glaze. Their ult management, the fact that they've got Phoenix ult, Harbor ult for a bonus, like that's fucking insane. They get a Phoenix ult like a couple rounds later. I'm watching Zeus on Ascent. He doesn't have an ult till round 7 on Phoenix, and he's got some kills. How is that boss? How are you not ulting till round 7 on Phoenix?
I mean, he also went 3 to 18, so that probably doesn't.
I mean, that
help.
didn't help, but I think at the time he was like 2 and 4 or something. They hadn't farmed a single ult orb.
Yeah.
They're not
And-
good. They're not good.
And
at
they're not
Phoenix.
giving the plant.
100 Thieves are really good at that, though.
100 Thieves are
Most
great.
people are not as good at that. Yeah.
No, but this was
it's
horrific.
a learnable skill. Yeah, it's a
No,
learnable skill.
it is bad because, I mean, I actually think they have the worst Phoenix at the moment. Maybe on par with like K-Corp, obviously, but that's not who you want to be on par with. I'm telling you that, because I think the flashes are bad and they don't make any plans with Phoenix. It's like, why are we using a Phoenix? Because you're making the flash look like a
Like, they're
sky
just, like-
flash that has to take a time
The
before it's decent.
ults on Pearl, double doors every fucking round into just not going anywhere because you just get Astra stopped. You know, just anybody
But
you don't see anyone, you die.
They're-
Every fucking round is just an old double doors.
But they're in a really rough spot because I was thinking about this when they were going to the best of 5. I was like, FUT are so doomed in best of 5. It's like they ain't getting above FUT because what is their map pool right now? And like, what do they pick in going
Ascent.
in? They want to pick Ascent.
I think they're Ascent.
They got
Ascent, apart from their
6 rounds
Phoenix,
last
like-
time they played it.
Well, yeah. But I think overall, like, I would have some faith in their Ascent. But you're right,
Sure.
in general. Their map pool is definitely
Because
shaky.
they're going to split on their 3rd map, and I don't believe they have a good split. And so you got to think that's at least in their top 4 of maps. That's not great.
Yeah. I mean, the split is sometimes just powered by the duelist going absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
But they have a massive problem on split defense side with Cristalli on A. I know we were kind of memeing on Eternal Fire because they just kept going A all the time. But Vitality in that game as well, when they played split, were basically just. I think teams have just realized like Cristalli playing Sky is solo on site a lot on A. And if you're playing double duelist against that, you can just run him down. And there's fuck all he can do about it. And he just ends up in bad spots dying a lot. And then you're 4v5 doing retakes with no initiator.
I don't think their duelists really understand how to play the defense side of split either. I think they really love running at people. And then if you can't do that every round, that's a bit of a problem.
I don't think they react well as well. Like the times when they need to react and fight for areas after losing so much, they don't really do that. They got some issues.
What is a reasonable expectation for these teams from EMEA? I mean, let's start with FUT because we were just talking about them.
Expectations get into playoffs.
Not losing a map?
Is
I
that an
think
expectation or a goal, Sliggy?
That's a goal.
I think that's a goal. Like
Right.
realistically, they're going to lose in groups if they look like this and have this map pool.
Right. What did you say, Team V? Win a map?
Not losing a map.
Win a map.
Win a map.
Crazy.
Win a fucking map. Look,
Sorry, I
haven't watched China
misheard
yet,
you.
but the Chinese teams might be shit. I don't know, but if they
I
are,
think so.
that's a win.
People are starting to get more positive
Global,
about
that's
it.
a win.
Yeah.
Full
Did they-
sense, win. Vitality, win.
If even Sliggy's saying, hold
Yeah,
on.
I think we need to get
He
back
would
on
have said the
board with
same about
China.
Wolves last time. Look, me
Nah.
supporting a
Wait,
team
why are
in
we getting
second
back on board with
Masters,
China?
just you wait.
Because, dude, if you think of why they were so bad about the Yoru meta, it was just like
Yep.
main macro stuff. You don't have to do macro stuff as much anymore. Like that was the like if you watch the teams in China play Yoru, it was the worst ever. If you watch
Because
them,
I was saying Santiago should be the best meta for them, and now you're basically saying that
Now
This
it's
is
the
the
best
nerf,
map.
This
Their
is-
Yoru
right,
was
nerf
horrible.
Yoru.
yeah,
What's
yeah.
Their
This is
Yoru
the
was
best
horrible.
meta.
They had
Yeah,
no
yeah,
one who could
but
play
no,
Yoru.
wait. But Santiago was the least macro intensive tournament we've ever had up until
And
now.
now we got this.
No,
and
until
now it's even worse.
Sure.
So now it's the best meta.
Now
Exactly.
is it? Yeah.
yeah.
But they also had
Yeah.
their worst performance ever before, so maybe.
I
maybe
would like
they're
to go
actually
on record
macro
as-
Joint worst.
Yeah, I'm going on record on saying that my doubting China stops just before London Masters. I
Now
think
hold
they
on,
can do it right.
you still haven't watched any China though, have you?
No, but it just makes sense. I haven't watched the rounds.
No, I
haven't
agree with
watched
you.
the rounds.
I'm in exactly the same boat. I think
EDG are
logically it
always-
makes sense that China would be good right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Didn't ETG look kind of dangerous in a few of the games, even at
No.
Santiago?
Oh, at Santiago?
Yeah, didn't it?
They look dysfunctional.
It didn't look good, man.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Maybe
this
I
is not
just-
the China segment. This is not the China segment. What are okay? So
Their
Foot,
first map was
EMEA,
3011.
yeah.
that's fine.
Foot are looking to maybe win a map. Then we're looking at
Fuck off, you fucking
sorry.
bold bastard.
They're going to try to make it to playoffs.
They need to get playoffs. Yeah.
Sorry. Then for Vitality, you've got a weird situation because they are, EMEA super team. They are now finally where they're supposed to be, getting it to a grand finals in EMEA. So what does that actually translate to? Like, are they going to be in a run for a trophy?
The trophy.
They were built to hunt for global trophies. Is it now reasonable?
Yeah, this is your
to
thing,
hold
Minnie.
them to that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think reasonably top 4 is what they should expect.
Like
or
full
should
sense.
be like full sense. Ooh.
Sorry, I was just calling back.
He
To,
wasn't here, he wasn't
that was the
here.
expectation we set in the Pacific segment for full sense.
full
Was like
sense.
they should
was
be
the
trying to
aim.
make top 4.
Oh, the aim.
Yes.
That was the aim for full sense, yeah.
Oh, I don't mean it's
You're
the aim
saying
for
minimum.
Vitality. I think that's kind of minimum top
Right.
4. But like again, like
Damn.
do-
I think
top 6, I think people won't be too dissatisfied with. But if we did pull back time and say this is supposed to be a super team that's supposed to be winning trophies, then top 6 ain't very good.
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
I think if you offered them top 6 a week 3 in stage 1, they would be like, holy
would-
shit,
they'd
that's
bite your hand
incredible.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would they
yeah.
now though? You think you offer them? You can go into Masters London and play for however you do, or you get a guaranteed top 6.
They
This
ain't
team's
taking
if,
top
they
if
six.
take
they're
it,
taking top
they're
6,
no.
like why the fuck would you take that?
Would they
Yeah.
take top 4? Like if you're on Vitality, would you take
I
a
would say if
guaranteed-
you're this, why would you take anything that isn't winning?
isn't-
it?
yeah,
Like
exactly.
you might as well just try and win it.
All right, yeah, fair enough. Well, because there's no
It's what they're built
reputational
for.
downside.
Yeah, but life goes on.
Yeah,
if they
yeah.
go out in group stage, the-
Life
A
goes on.
backdoor
None of
deal.
this matters.
I think they would take a top 3 with a backdoor deal.
Okay, backdoor deal. You take top 3,
Yeah,
podium
so-
position,
This guy.
bronze medal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is
Politician
one
in
of those.
waiting, Minnie.
Like, I know how to keep my job.
yeah. Pal and Scott have got a different opinion to TMB.
Yeah, the team's like, yeah, we can win this, and they've already agreed. Please,
Please give me a third.
And then what about Heretics then? So Heretics have been in the hunt for one of these VCT Global trophies forever. Could this be their time?
Could be.
It could be.
Probably not, but it could be.
Yeah, exactly. Probably not, but it might be.
Great.
After Paper X, it's so hard to predict anything.
Dude, G2 look good, man.
G2 look good.
Yeah, but we say that every fucking time.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
and they
say
get
that
top-
every
and they,
top four
and they
every
normally
time.
get top 4.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but okay, like after I'd say like you put Paper X in that category by themselves, and then I put like G2 like in the tier below. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but Heretics wouldn't be in that tier with Paper X, would they?
I'm very
Always.
confused. I am very tired.
I don't think so. No.
I'm saying that
No.
Paper X aren't in the
No,
same
obviously
tier
no
as Paper X.
Heretics.
Well,
No,
there you
Paper
go.
X are in their own tier right now.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
probably
I
like
think so.
they're probably if you're gonna rank teams, they're probably not that we watch China, but they're probably third.
Yeah.
Who-
just
Heretics?
love
I
that
would-
caveat.
Yeah,
Heretics.
I
are
would say if
third.
NRG make it, I
yeah. I can
Americans
get
are
on board with
weird because we haven't finished. Like we need to wait another week before we properly have these kind of discussions, and then we will be
sure.
ranking the teams.
But
and
ar-
ranking
but
the
around
players and
there,
all that
third,
stuff.
fourth.
Right.
I'm just so like if we put Heretics as third, we're in that kind of space. I'm very worried for them. If we put them like sixth, they're fine. They're gonna do well.
that. Bro, that's one win.
It's
They
the
go in one game.
It's the opposite of your narrative about Vitality. It's like, oh, please don't put any pressure on my little babies, please.
Yeah, but whenever we do, they don't do well.
Yeah, yeah.
And they didn't build a super team. They were good on their own success. It's very
Yes.
different.
Yes, that is very true. when we talked about Pacific, we were having a discussion about whether T1 might have actually been a better representative of, rather than some of the other teams that were sent and how good they were, etc., etc. Eternal Fire are the team that missed out in EMEA.
I thought you were going to get to Fnatic.
Well, no. That ship has sailed, unfortunately. Eternal Fire are the ones that missed out. Super close. Well, super close. Pretty close
Very
series.
close.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Both of
Close,
them.
right?
Yeah. And they will not be going. How do you feel about Eternal Fire? They were definitely one of the teams that was most impressive this stage. They lived up to your narrative, Minnie, about like when they get their players back, and they didn't even have SOP.
Yeah.
And they still almost made
Imagine
it to
with
Masters
SOP.
London.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it would be like this good. Like, I was like, they're going to be a team that people aren't going to just forget. They're going to be, fighting for playoffs and stuff. I am a bit like sad for them in some respects that this was kind of
They were 9-3 up.
I mean,
But it's
they
fractured defense side though, so
Yeah.
9-3 up.
They
on
were
the
9-3 up on Fracture, sorry.
Yeah, and then
they were like
Siggy's they can't play defense narrative came through, and I was watching it just molding, just like, can you stop just running sideways in CT spawn? Like, you have no idea how to play this map, like what's going on. And again, a moment where on the desk I'd love to go into that shit, but I'm not gonna do that for them on that game, I don't think. But yeah, just a disaster of a defense there. Like, sometimes, like, I don't get it. Like, this map is you just push out and you play literally Turkish style Valorant.
You play how they should want
Like,
to
I don't
play.
understand why the Turkish team doesn't want to play Turkish Valorant. I think in their heads, Turkish Valorant is flooding sites. And
Pushing for
that's
smokes.
not what Fracture
fighting
is.
together.
They don't want to flood the sites as much.
They
on this
they
map,
did.
so.
They hard flooded round 13 and 15 and just sold the game like right then and there.
Yeah.
Team Heretics, by the way, really ready for it though in both of those rounds. They were hyper ready for Eternal Fire to do that.
They were so prepped in terms of just hold gun out. And like as soon as the amount of times where they would like tap the spike and then just have gun out instantly instead of actually just going for the spike plant, well, it was quite high as well. So I think they're a little readable, but
Yeah.
dude, they play such a fun style, and I do think like, dude, they're right there with Foot, man. I think I actually think if they played Foot 10 times, I would favor Eternal Fire to maybe win like 6 out of the 4, like 6 out of the 10. Because I do think they're a little better, personally, from what I've seen. But that's just maybe because of map pool as well. Dude, I think they lost split when they played against Foot because they lost double pistol.
Yeah.
don't care.
If we said Eternal, what would you
Win
say
one next
Eternal?
time.
If Eternal Fire were going to London, would you say it's the same as them? It's like the goal is to get out groups, but they probably wouldn't.
I think the ceiling's higher, isn't it, for Eternal Fire? Like, I feel
that's
like
where
they've
I'm
got more
at, yeah.
upset potential.
No, I do agree with that, yeah. Because I think the Americas teams might struggle against the playstyle. I think the Pacific teams... Actually, maybe not the Pacific teams that are going G kind of struggle with that a little bit, but I think the style of play would work well against America's teams. It's just so brutal, non-stop fighting. You have no time to make a plan.
It would have been so interesting, narratively speaking, sending Foot and Eternal Fire as, EMEA. It would just feel so weird.
rebranded EMEA.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
actually is, yeah.
Yeah.
They're good at Eternal Fire, man. I feel bad for them because
Yeah.
they actually
get
look
that
good.
close.
They're a team that's
they
in a
look
good spot though for stage 2, I think.
Yeah.
Because they weren't they weren't like meta abusing, they weren't doing anything that shouldn't be doable next stage as well. I guess their form. If their form dropped off, they would have a nightmare.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think that's the only thing. It's like striking when the iron is hot is like basically what I see with a lot of these teams. And when they don't quite make it over the line, I get very worried. Even though, as an analyst, I should probably be like, stage 2 should be good for them. I always just get worried about just teams not just getting it over that mark, But I think, they don't rely on the neon as much. Like Izzy isn't like SOP with the neon. And then Favian right now, if it does turn into a different meta, he's proven flexibility, and so they can flex around quite easily there. So materially, they should be fine.
The problem, no, but you say that like the problem is like when you're going into stage 2, it's champs, so it's only top 2. Like realistically, if any
Sure,
EMEA team does well, they're not gonna make it on point, so they have to finish top 2 rather than top 3. So, and if you assume Fnatic are gonna bounce back and also not make it on points, then.
Speaking of which, I mean, let's move on to talking about EMEA groups, but I did want to just like check in with the points. Like, what is going on with the points in the EMEA? They don't have a team like Nongshim who are far and away in the lead. So
it's up for grabs.
isn't it pretty open? Like, is Masters London just basically if you do well and get some points, you're in the lead.
Heretics have
You might
got
be.
9.
Yeah,
BBL
Heretics got
7,
9
Foot
from-
7, Eternal Fire 6. Like 4 teams have got 6. Like
That's
it's
not
wide
bad
open.
though. I
wide
mean,
open.
Eternal Fire could actually make it on points, maybe.
They could, but they have to hope that. I mean, this could happen, of course, that none of the EMEA teams do well. But if one of them does decently well,
Because if Foot bombs
London,
out in
then
groups, then
not
it's
gonna
only Team Heretics that you're really looking at. Like if Eternal Fire,
But yeah, I suppose it's not as bad as I perhaps thought it would be.
yeah,
This
it's,
is- this is pretty
it's
open.
pretty open. I mean, Carmen Corp will struggle to make it on points, but but never say never, guys. I've still got faith. Oh Christ! I didn't watch the EMEA group stage. I haven't even looked at the EMEA groups at all. Are they
it's
good.
crazy?
Are they stacked?
Oh, it's
pretty,
good.
pretty stacked.
It's good. You got to
It's pretty
check it out.
one-sided, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good. Fanatics group is stacked, man. Look at it.
Oh wait, that's
Your
filth.
K-Corp. Your
Wait,
K-Corp.
K-Corp? No! Look at that group that they're in. They're absolutely getting bullied. Oh man. The thing is though, that I think no, Group Omega's just ridiculous.
Omega's got a very clear top 4, and then Alpha's got a kind of a wide 5.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at Alpha and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
well, Na'Vi might actually be in a
turn the ship
better,
around.
turn around. BBL might refine some form, but it's a lot of mights and maybes in Group Alpha.
Yeah, no, it really is. Because what kind of form are Gentamates, BBL, Navi, Foot after going to London, not having as much time as well? Could
After winning it,
could
that's going to be
beatable.
tough.
That's true. After winning it all, yeah. So, dude, this Fnatic group is, considering that they have to get top 2. I mean, maybe I guess.
Oh,
they
yeah.
can. Like this
That's the narrative there. Is Fnatic need top 2
Yeah.
to get to champs, and that's
you would imagine so, unless the EMEA teams really mess up. But yeah, you would imagine so.
It was the first time that somebody not called Fnatic and Liquid had won a stage, right? Normally it's just Fnatic.
After
A
and
kickoff.
non-kickoff.
Non-kickoff, yeah,
Yeah.
X Vitality, yeah.
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 Pretty doable for Fnatic though, I think, to be able to make top 2. I get they're not
Sure.
they're not in a terrible position.
They got a lot of time. And I think the meta change should suit them a
Initiate a
lot
cooldowns,
more.
yeah.
Yeah. Should
Oh.
definitely help them.
And if Vakash comes back.
Final thing then for EMEA, because you just discussed it, meta change. Does the meta change own? I think we talked about it with Heretics a little bit with Koshmaras, but the other 2 teams, what are we feeling, up or down as they head into London based on the meta?
I mean,
or the
Foot
patch?
use a lot of Neon.
Yeah, in terms of SOP, that could be an issue. There are times where I think if they put him on Jet, because that's the other problem. They got Zeus, who's also like a Jet player. So how they kind of navigate it might be a little bit weird. But there are actually times where I think SOP loves attack opping, and I feel like sometimes that actually costs Foot rounds when he's attack opping on Neon, because then like he's not entering and the rounds don't end up looking good. So if they put him on Jet, that might make more sense for stuff like that. Like for in a more weird position than most, because they have like 2 like full
players.
entry duelists, which most
Yeah,
teams
yeah.
don't. So yeah, that nerf might not be ideal for them. Although like Zeus is Waylay. I mean, if they want to try Waylay, I don't even know. Like Zeus like has played a
Zeus
decent amount of
was
Waylay.
better
So.
than the other duelists.
His Waylay is good,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
like
his
he
Waylay's
makes
pretty
the
good, so.
he makes the Waylay look better than the Phoenix. I don't know how
Yeah.
that's possible.
Yeah,
at
so-
the current point. So
I
that's
don't know what
impressive.
they're gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna do.
I think
Vitality have got to get better though, right?
Vitality get better, and I think the other 2 are nerfed. To be honest,
Yeah.
I think it's not just the fact that it's
It's
like
get better because Durka will be happier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
gets
also
the
the
way.
fact that they're not as locked into playing double duelists. Like they don't have to if they don't want to. And I think on some of these maps you're kind of trolling. I think Lotus is a bit of a troll to play double duelists, honestly. Like I think for some teams they have to do it, and Foot are probably one of those teams. And Heretics right now
That is a
seem like
massive
one of those
role. I
teams.
mean,
but-
Foot, Jesus, the Lotus. You don't remind me. It's just the no senti comms. I mean, you're right, Minnie. Like no senti.
Yeah, but isn't like you pick your poison there? I think no Senti or
Yeah,
no
no senti or no
Viper. It's
Viper. I'm
like-
with you. No, I'm
good
with
luck.
you. I'm
Would
with
you rather have
100%,
no
but
Senti or triple Senti?
Triple Senti.
Triple
The triple
Senti has
Senti,
worked.
the triple
probably-
Senti is not that bad. It's just the G kind of crumbled a little bit. And even when they did the C spam, they did the C spam wrong. It's like, dude, come
They
on.
choose weird sentinels though, right? They don't play the ones I'd probably.
No,
No, I
they-
think that was the
they-
XLG.
It's
comp,
the
yeah.
XLG Deadlock Sage Cipher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't
it is
like that.
it is unusual, but that's what XLG have been.
It's got
playing
wins
with
in
and winning with.
internationals.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
100
it beats
Thieves had a
Sentinels.
different read though, didn't they? What was 100 Thieves Senti comp?
They
that
run double Senti, don't they? Sage Vice.
Sage. Oh, is it Sage Vice? Right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
Raze,
yeah.
Sova,
Yes, yeah,
Smokes.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to talking about some Americas. I think TMV and Mini, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Fuck you. I've been abused this whole fucking show. It's time to give some back. You're a bold fraud.
That's it.
That's it.
Fuck off.
That's great.
Micah, bye Mini, bye Sliggy.
Is that not America's today?
Yes.
No,
yeah.
no.
Oh, right. You
Oh,
mean
no,
matches?
No. You gotta,
No,
you
no.
gotta wait.
Oh no,
It's Friday, mate.
Why did I think Bonka did his tweet? And I'm a fraud. Tired. Right, I'm going to bed. Honestly, I'm going to bed. See you
Alright.
guys.
Enjoy
All right,
your sleep.
bye, Mini. Take a picture of your bookcase. All right, he's gone already. Never mind.
He's straight to bed.
Never mind. yeah, he's-
We're gonna take a short break to give RkT and Zikz a minute to get in here.
All right,
Sounds
sounds
good.
good. Sounds good.
I'll be right back then.
Do I play music? I don't want to play music, dude. Dude, we've had such a long week in America.
We have had a
no
long week.
audience. Just sitting there, just waiting for an audience member to show up. I can't believe we sold 0 tickets.
I know it's so tough, isn't it?
Man,
Truly,
Really?
America's is in decline. No, not a single person wanted to buy a ticket for the show.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No,
Hopefully people
man.
will show up.
Hello,
What's up,
how you
Zix?
doing?
Yo, how's it going?
Good, good.
All right, let me make sure. All right, RkT, can we hear you? Test 1, 2, 3.
Can
Oh,
you hear
we
me?
can hear you. Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
hear
I
you.
can hear you. I can hear you.
Sliggy's Sliggy's coming back, and then we'll get this show on the road. There we go. Oh, by the way, Josh messaged me at the beginning of like an hour before the show. He's like, "By the way, my laptop's been crashing like crazy, so expect
Yeah.
me to disconnect
Yeah.
during the show." So far so good.
So far, so
No-
good.
No crashes yet.
I was VOD reviewing last night, and it got to about 10 p.m. something like that, and I'd been watching like 3-4 hours of Valorant at that point, and my PC just everything froze, but I could still hear Achilleos's voice. And then my PC hardware just started going, but I could hear that and Achilleos's voice still carrying on like there was no problem. And I had to hard reset my laptop, and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to turn it back on, and we're just going to hope it works in the morning. And it did, it did. But that was the second time it's done that this week. I think it's on the way out. So if anyone has a laptop recommendation in the chat, any of our members have gaming or like streaming laptop recommendations, or man, if you work with a company, holy, Plat Chat sponsor.
We can give you a shout out. Big shout out on Plat Chat. Give him a nice gaming laptop. I think we're all back. Hello everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Yo.
Thank you for joining us again, Zikz and RkT. I feel like we've
No,
had
it
you
was-
on before, but like as a guest appearance, I think.
Oh,
you were like
yeah.
in the background of Dan
Dryad's
Dryad's stream or
appearance.
something.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, lovely to have you on as we discuss Americas. We're going to start with, first of all, did the vibe from America's RkT, me and you we've just been sat there, no audience. Meanwhile, we're like Squidward trapped inside watching Pacific be in the middle of Vietnam, like with thousands of audience members. We're dying out here.
Yeah, dude, it's such a polar opposite just watching it. It's like, especially in the final when they kind of got the crowd sound good, and I was like, man, Pacific's unbelievable. And then sometimes in America, you can see them like looking at one person, it's like, yeah, there's one person just cheering. It's just so different. But I mean, the players have been, especially Lev, man, the players have been pretty hype. Like, it would have been nice to see them with a crowd for sure as well, because I think they would feed off it. But Sato's doing like his best job to try be the crowd. I would say.
Yeah. I think there's been a few times too where the music has been off. There's been like a gap between when the game ends and there's like no music, so it's full silence after a win, and you're just like, wait, what? What's going on? America's is fully dead, or yeah.
Yeah, it's all a lie. They were selling tickets. It's just no one turned up.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Leviathan then. I think you're right in that Sado is, dude. Sado would be loving playing in front of a crowd right now, man. He is like. What were they saying? They were saying that one of the players had told him that they played better when he was popping off or something, or standing up, and so he was just like, "I'm going to stand up after every round."
Yeah, I can't remember if it was Neon, but I think you're saying like Neon would just talk to me. It's just like, man, remember when you used to stand up after every round to get us all hyped? Like, where's that gone? And he's just decided to bring it back. Dude, they look great, man. I love watching this team at the moment. This is like the Lev that was promised. This is Honor. When I think of Honor, I think of just like fast set strats. And then when I saw him in kickoff, I was like, bruh, why are we playing like this? And now they're starting to finally play it. They're making the Phoenix Neon like look unbelievable. The flash combos that they're doing with like the fast slides, or even just like the Phoenix running like in and then taking all the space with the Neon as a backup as well, to just make sure that they actually hold on to all this space. Dude, I love watching this team right now. So sick.
Yeah, I agree. We can pull up the clip, but what I've really liked is like during these like team fight scenarios. This one is post plant. I actually really like this. You'll see that we have Phoenix ult to stall. So you can play the clip from here. We have Phoenix ult to stall. We walk into like a spawn push and then push back Mazzino, so that naturally the Heaven players want to react out. And they just do this 3-man peek. If you go back like 10 seconds, then you'll see, just go to minimap because it doesn't really show on the replay, but you can see like a triple peek come on like the new box lane as he's pushing spawn. And it's just like, I mean, I've kind of talked about this a lot with teams that are like super high level, but when you see teams that are team fighting at a consistently high level, especially in post plants where teams are kind of faltering right now, it just looks too good. And I feel like there's only like 3 or 4 teams that are doing it, and hilariously, those are the ones that remain. So hopefully we'll see a lot more like sick team fights, and Lev is definitely one of those teams for sure. For sure.
Yeah, they also have a lot of trap plays ready to do something, especially when they're playing with the Phoenix and when they have the Neon too to go together. It's really amazing. I believe they didn't work very well in Fracture against MIBR, but if you saw the way Neon is taking the way from Satellite, and they go quick like to try to make the pinch to the guy it's in the side in the A lobby. I think the only way, because it didn't work, is because they weren't playing against a Sky, and you have the quick flash that you don't have when you're playing Breach or some kind of stuff that are playing in Fracture. It's really, really interesting. When they're playing so fast, they're playing super well. Also, King pop up in the playoff in an incredible way.
Right, he's fragging so heavy, man. He's fragging so heavy. Yeah, I still hate his Breeze, like the whole Breeze Harbor wall fight, and then he's fighting on his own, and he's playing anchor, and then sometimes he's throwing the wall and there's no one there to fight, and then they don't have util to retake. Like, I think the Harbor diff that I'm seeing from certain teams right now on Breeze is giant.
Yeah.
It's giant.
It's absurd. I mean, I was losing my mind looking at the way that Loud were playing it.
Loud's,
not
holy
gonna go
crap.
into that one. Not gonna go into that one. Already flamed them as they left the tournament. Flamed them on their way out.
Flamed them on the broadcast, but it was warranted, man. I'm not really down for like flaming teams on the broadcast, but it was so crap that I'm like, yeah, mate, just get them, because I was pissed watching it. Like, I just don't get it. And the thing is, we've had so many demos now of like how this is how you should be playing Harbor. Like, Sentinels do it really well in terms of the retakes. NRG do it really well, so kind of just annoys me when we see it. But other than that, like the main map that kind of stuck out for me again was this Ascent, bro. This Ascent was so sick. The amount of like flash neon plays they're making was just so nice. Like, from the barrier, from the get-go, just here we go, barriers down, we're just insta flashing and pushing with the neon. And it's always on like the big buy rounds, and MIBR are always like trying to take some space, and they're just eating the flashes. Dude, it was so nice to see. I'm so happy that this team has made it, to be honest. It's Honor's first LAN since 2022, I think. Like
Is it
that's
really?
such a long time of grind for him. Yeah. So yeah, I'm super happy, and I just think the team just finally looks good. I think they're going to get a little bit wrecked. They're probably the team that I would say that's going to get the most wrecked from the Neon nerfs, so that worries me. But if I look at maybe their Ascent, I think they can float and still do a fair amount of the stuff they do on Ascent. It's just more of these other maps where it's like a little looser, and they maybe rely on him to get the info that I think they're going to struggle on. But yeah, dude, I'm super happy for this team. I think they look good.
I assume when the Neon nerfs hit, if they wanted to not play Neon compositions, this is so fucking. This team is so fucking stupid. If they don't want to run the agent known as Neon, they would use the player known as Neon to play Jet, right?
Yeah,
and so then Spike picks up. I don't even.
He used to play Viper.
Like
he used to play Viper.
Yeah, he'll go Senti or Viper.
Yeah, which is
so
random for your Neon player.
Fuck this team.
No, but they're flexible. They are a flexible team, so it's not like. But that's a lot to change in a small amount of time.
Yeah.
So
team identity wise, the pace will change so much because they are pretty set strat heavy. They have clear maps that their game plans look great, and then other maps where their game plans don't look great. Breeze, Fracture were two pretty obvious ones. But we did see another good sign, which they showed some level of adaptability without like timeout interference on the FURIA matchup. If you guys remember, FURIA had a great idea with the game plan to like basically whenever they got B defaulted on with the Vice wall, they would instead not place the Vice wall, replace the Vice wall after the B default, and then over time, Lev like kind of keyed into this and decided, oh, we could just take first timing then. They did their B default, but actually fully walked out with everyone and then took site. That was pretty sick to see.
This was that MIBR game where then Tex was just saving his util even though they were going fast, right?
Oh, no. This was the FURIA match. The FURIA match. Yeah.
Game. Maybe it's
There's
the
so
FURIA
many
game
matches.
I'm thinking of. Was Artsin on?
Artsin was on Vice.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then it's Artsin I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Bro, and then he wasn't adapting, and then he was just like saving fawns, even though they're going fast, and like every time they're hitting him, he would only have. There was some rounds they hit him on B site, and he would have one fawns down, no Wallen, and fawns just in his pocket. Like, mate, they're rushing you. They have been for the last 4 rounds. Put some util down. So I mean, they're good at noticing stuff and exploiting it as well. But that's also on FURIA being.
It's a bit of both, yeah. He like overly stuck to the game plan.
Do you expect this team to... I feel like a lot of people are writing them off in terms of winning the tournament, though, because people are so impressed with G2 currently, and also because G2 have historically been winning a lot of stuff in Americas. But I see a team here that definitely can win.
I think they can win. I think G2 is good against teams that are maybe a little reliant on some set strats, and that's where I view these guys at the moment. So I think G2 will enjoy playing against this. It's just if they can shut down Spike and how fast it can be.
If they don't get picked, it's kind of like what I'm thinking, because like Lev, it feels like they've caught so many teams off guard, and I will say, like. A team like G2 might get caught in the same way that MIBR was getting caught constantly, because they have been leaning into more individuality, and they were a bit slower on the macro game. But I still think, Lev just has a bit of gaps, I think, in game planning for a few maps, and I think that might be the crux of them, especially in a best of 5 kind of environment.
Well, the upper
like once
game
it gets there.
The upper game should be a 3 though.
Once it gets
with,
there,
isn't it?
Yeah. Once it gets there.
What do you reckon, RkT? Do you have faith in Lev?
Yes, but also I believe G2 always do. That's a hard problem. I believe Lev will have problems in the moment that some of the set strats stop working and they have to make adaptations, especially when they have to change like not the default itself would change the way they playing the macro. I feel like against FURIA, against MIBR, they didn't get pushed enough to change a lot of stuff. They just keep hitting B with changes, what is good, is interesting, but they don't try mid so much, or even King didn't need to push a side in a split, for example. I don't know what's going on when those things start to crumble a bit, and it's really good like reading this kind of stuff. When they have information, they prepare really, really good.
I think the only area, I mean, one of the big areas where I think they have been pushed enough to change something, it's got to be their fracture composition, right? When you hear from 100 Thieves as well, and they say, "Oh, we were playing Breach Tejo on that map, but actually we changed the comp 1 day before, and now we look good on it." Like, you could just do that as well. They beat the piss out of somebody playing this comp, didn't they? Was it Envy?
Yeah, it was.
They battered someone on the fracture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Envy.
It was Envy.
Yeah, but it was also on the attack side, and they were just kind of like running over them.
They were running set strats and just winning
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
It's so hard to play this map without an info senti, man. It's so hard to play.
I
this
don't
map.
like Paper Rex playing the breach either. Like, I think that they're going to keep doing it because they're beating everybody with it. But I don't.
Probably.
I don't think Envy's even getting that much value. And like, if it's not working for them, it shouldn't be working for anyone else.
People are going for like the old school after plant meta at the moment, where it's just like, we can save breach damage and we can have Teo util for after plant.
Yeah.
But I just feel like as soon as they get onto defense, everyone just has no idea. And it's like, guys, you now have a comp that is actually like relatively good for like fighting and pushing out, or at least like reacting with the Teo drone, and I just don't see it. So yeah, I just think that these teams are playing a comp that has to be played a certain way, and they're not playing it well. I just think an info senti would help them so much. Even just I don't like the chamber on this one, but even just the chamber might help them a little bit. I love Lev right now when they play the Phoenix chamber. They're a Sen comp basically. When they play the Phoenix, the chamber, and the Neon, bro,
Yeah.
it looks so good when it's like this.
Yeah,
Holy
I mean,
hell, they
yeah.
look so good. There's so much comfort on
They
this
play
team.
on Pearl, they play on Ascent, they play on Haven as well, I think, don't they?
Yeah,
think so.
It's like their
I think that's
main,
right, yeah.
their main
It's
thing that they
their
play.
main
Yeah.
thing. Brad
Yeah.
just play it on Fracture. Like no one pushes well. No one's actually good enough on Fracture at the moment to punish your chamber. I think you'd get away with it. I would.
It would help
I'd
their
rather see
4-1s that they're trying to do every round.
Yeah. Because at least the chamber can go like a little aggro, and
Yeah.
then maybe have a trip that is like the info
Early
on the other
space.
side and TP
Yeah.
away. Yeah, you could make it work.
Let's move on to talking about their opponents in the upper bracket then, G2. So G2 have called for another global event, as they always do. But this one, I guess this one was harder earned than most. For sure it was. But the recent form that they're in, they do look like a juggernaut, bro. They made the 100 Thieves and Crew games barely worth watching.
Yeah, they smashed them.
Yeah.
Well, and
Because-
100 Thieves, I think, was a crumble. Like, that, I think, was a bit of a mental, like, collapse from 100 Thieves as well. They were way better than both of these teams.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. Dude, I was so excited for the Crew G2 Lotus, and like macro wise, it was like, cool, this is awesome. But I think I'd just come off of watching Eternal Fire in EMEA, and I was like, my God, no one can aim on the server right now. It was so weird to see the amount of duels that were whiffing, and it was actually just like the first 10 rounds were just like some of the longest duels I've seen in a pro game for ages, and I was like, man, why does it look like this? It looks so sloppy right now. But all the reactions and stuff was like really good. I just felt like the aim level was like one of the lowest that I've seen for a while. But dude, apart from, if I take out that map from G2, they've looked incredible, to be honest. And again, their macro and all the stuff there, the reactions that they're doing are right. It was just the aim stuff that was worrying me. So they just look great, man.
They pulled it out at the end as well. They were like behind this whole map up until the very end, and then they won some critical rounds.
I will say the only thing that I'm worried about with G2 is just a bit of a slow start. It felt like they had deep A line as an example, didn't overstack BC, like just small detail things like that. I think they were kind of slow to adapt to, but eventually they started flowing into the game. And it's like, yeah, I mean, just it feels like teams go through this like cycle of team play in Valorant where it's like you start with like basically team start like kind of individualistic, like only individual play. Then it goes into, oh guys, we got to focus on the team play. And then now they're only doing team play. There's no X factors on your team. Everybody's playing for the team. You're giving up crazy space. And then now they've like kind of toned it back just a little bit so that they have like good individuality. And I'm just hoping within G2 that G2 doesn't end up like, you know what I mean, pushing more into the individual play, and they kind of keep that balance. Because it feels like there's a few teams right now that are like kind of I guess, at that next step past the only team play step. And the balance is just too nice from them. Like the individual moments. I mean, we talked about the 100 Thieves match a little bit, but yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like seeing players feeling like, the play to win concept, maybe an overstated concept, but like they're really trying to find every good opportunity within the game to like actually snowball and win the game.
Yeah, they're very good at that. I think they're also very good at having a slow start. We've had 2 examples now, or like 2 different examples. Like comp-wise, obviously, first 2 weeks they're doing the harbor stuff. They scrap that. They go into like this more traditional style. And then I think if you just look in the individuals as well, like Valen on this, Lotus I think went 1 to 10 or something, 1 to 9. And
Yeah,
then
1-9.
the next half is getting like 17 kills or something crazy.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's nice.
And his
they have
calling was great.
Yeah, no, the calling was good. So it's just like it's such a resilient team, man. It's scary when a team is like this because the good starts can happen. Like you just need to capitalize some more pistols. I think they got E-codes maybe on this as well, but they can sort that stuff out. I mean, I feel great about G2, man. It just feels like it's just that time of year again, isn't it? We're just like, well, they're one of the favorites to win one of these tournaments, and it looks like they're going to win Americas. We've been here for the past 3 years, and it's just that time. It's just that time of the year.
Yeah, also I believe that it's the first time I saw crew having problems like defending the side or stacking the sides. Usually in the previous matches, they always like keep one person, the way they make the rotations, always keep the gap closer. And in this match, you find like C empty, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
They do the full exec with the ult and all the stuff, but Balin make possible like the side completely clear. Jogemo can go a bit farther to gain a bit of space and make the retakes of crew that they were very good at this map, more sloppy. So
Yeah.
I believe they did really well, especially because it's a map. If crew didn't want that map, I believe they have no chance to win the series.
I mean,
their map.
Yeah.
If crew are not beating you on Lotus, then you're
in trouble.
you're playing
Yeah.
silent. Especially when Les is dropping 27 kills. Like if Les is dropping 27 and they still can't take Lotus, yeah, you've beaten them. You've won the series at that point, haven't you? Anything further to be said about G? I do kind of I want to watch that. Go on, Kurt. Would you be able to have a look for that Leaf play? It was G2 versus 100 Thieves, and he gets an ace. Where is it? Oh no, he doesn't get an ace. He gets a 4K.
4K, yeah. 4K in the orb, yeah.
It's round 7. Go on, RkT.
Also believe we were talking about Harbor a little bit, and I believe that Balin on Harbor, on Breeze, with the walls, he trying to maximize some space, like when you do the exec on A, instead of using like a stray wall similar to the Viper one or go to orange, he tries like to go between the pyramids and finish the wall in the other side, which is, I think, is pretty interesting. It's like to get the maximum of Harbor, which is nice.
Here it is, dude. I mean,
insane.
he absolutely cooked them here. He's about to back off. He hears the Omen ult behind him, and he's like, "I'm just gonna destroy him."
About this, sorry,
Go on.
about
There
this,
you go.
we have Shosh and in the interview, and Shosh Leaf told Shosh like, "Oh, I've been playing a lot of Phoenix, so I can throw my molly and go forward and say maybe I can do the same thing with the Viper," and he tries.
That's crazy.
Nice.
It's nice when a team is this confident to do it though. But all the individual reactions are just so good. Like if he goes back, he kind of gets pinched from the Omen. Maybe he breaks the ult and they just get the full sight. Like he makes the best out of a worse situation. I mean, he was never expecting to get 4 here. It's like I can get one, maybe I can get 2. Yeah, I can get 2. So it's such a sick play.
Dante does seem to have tunnel vision sometimes. It seems like something that I've noticed a lot with Dante and sorry, not Dante. This is sorry, I'm flaming Dante for no reason. I do think that about Dante, but we've just come off the back of them playing against crew, and I'm talking about it in a game against 100 Thieves. So I've just absolutely hit him with a drive-by for no good reason there. That's more relevant to when he was playing on Breeze. Let's talk about FURIA. Let's move on to discussing FURIA. They had, I mean, They had a chance of being able to do something here again, I think. They looked to me to be a very competent team, like a good team, not a great team, but a good team still in this stage. But they could just, they really didn't put it together at the end. I mean, this is a red carpet, essentially, when you look at their recent match results, with only that win against Sentinels in the last 5. But they don't seem that far away from being a strong team, but they don't have the stuff that was working for them really well at kickoff. Like, I feel like they don't really have the scopes dominating the games. They don't seem to have that like super quick read and everyone in sync of exactly what reactions they want to take around the map at the right times. They're struggling a little bit more.
I think they're really struggling with like calling stuff. I know that Artsin's like doing well in terms of fragging, but I watched some of the calling, like on Lotus attack, his calling with
that was really bad. Yeah,
it's just non-existent. Like it's like the ults on there. I see EU is an incredible player, man. He's probably one of the most underrated players potentially in Valorant, and it's just like I can't watch him hold an ult for 4 rounds. Like we got to make a plan around this ult, and then they're holding Omen ult for so long. And then I watched like the game that we were talking about earlier, where they're just spamming over towards B, and then I'm just seeing Artsin not pop all his util down, even though he's been going up against a team that's been running fast strats for the past 3-4 rounds. Like, it needs to be instant. I was praising NRG the other day for like next round adaptations. I need to see the next round. They've had it called a timeout, then the next round they go fast. They're going to go fast again. You then got to adapt. Instead of saving your walls, saving your forms, you got to be putting that stuff down. I get you fragging heavy, that's cool, but you're still losing the rounds because you're not identifying what's going on. So I do feel like the big thing that's going on with FURIA at the moment when I watch them is just like the adapting and just the overall calls. They could make it so easy for themselves, but they're playing ult rounds like they have no ults. And it's just like, it's just really low level. It's like when we used to flame Paper X in Santiago. It's like, guys, just use your, like in that final, just use your ults. You'd have such an easier time. Just use the ults, yeah. It actually hurt me watching them because they're normally not like this. But I just think internally something's going a bit wrong.
Yeah, I felt like they were late to react to their like op identity. Now they're playing like some version of catch up, and then on top of that, they're like super sloppy. Like there's a clip we have I linked to Kurt, but it's like in this round it's like an eco round, so it's like you don't want to be overly critical on the eco rounds, but like this is like a good showing in my opinion of at least they're like just them not really like thinking things through like fully. Like, okay, so here I thought they had a great setup here. 4-1 eco round. We're gonna use the cam long. You can start the clip, but we're gonna use the cam long, and then it's gonna kind of bait them in a bit, right? Oh, Cypher might be weak A. Cam spots the deep A line. Okay, they're gonna contact into A, but our hero gun shows himself immediately in the round toward A, and you keep watching. You'll see afterward. Once again, it's like, okay, so they've shown Cypher, they've shown Sova. We're silent stacking on the site. Sova drone comes in, perfect. We all tuck, we break it with Cypher. Who's gonna jump spot long? Our Jet. And it's just like, okay, now you've shown 3 people toward A, so are they really gonna hit this? Like, they're gonna throw a little bit of a pump fake, they're gonna like play it out, but it's like one of those things of like just diligence. If you just only showed your Cypher the whole time, built like a good trap setup, oh, and then they do like, in my opinion, one of the worst things you can do in Valorant, which is the refight long, and they just get absolutely destroyed. And it's just one of those things of like, as well, and this isn't even like the most egregious example, but I think just overall, like there's so many individual moments as well, outside of just this team play example, where they're just not as composed as they once were. I felt like this was like the composed team in so many scenarios. Like they were kind of regarded as we're going to walk around, take things slow, take our time, siege things out. Players are like full running around the bomb site, like hard, just sprinting around on all of their scaling. Whereas before they would just walk out together as a pack, hard freeze front site, holding for the reactions. It just felt so controlled. They've just lost that identity and what was kind of working for them, it feels like.
Yeah, it's tough for FURIA because I think the expectations were so low coming in then skyrocketed enormously because they won kickoff. And I think it's hard to tell what they are actually going to be as we head towards stage 2. Like, I would still consider them to be a good team, like at least a middle of the pack level team. But I really don't know where the floor and ceiling are for stage 2.
It's a weird one as well. Like they're in that same group of like the BBLs, the Gentlemates, the Nongshims of like what you're saying, finding the identity.
Yeah.
They're in that group of, well, this was working and now we're not as good as that. And it's like we can kind of use this as like a fast fix, but then do we need to try and get back to the original level that we were doing? In which case do we need to have koala opping? And then it's just so late and you're just changing so much that you're just not going to be as good. That on top of the calling is...
Yeah, well, they're gone now. Goodbye. We'll see you again in stage 2. Another team, though, that we should be following that went on a similar path and then have actually recovered, though. 100 Thieves. They got absolutely battered in their opening playoffs game and turned it around. I thought for a moment then my laptop had crashed. We were so close.
Making sounds.
Dude, we were so close. It's making some weird noises right now. So hold on, but I think we're okay. 100 Thieves, I was worried they were going to mentally collapse completely after their G2 game. And actually the turnaround and their recovery and the win against MIBR in particular, I think, was very impressive to me. I didn't think we'd be here as 100 Thieves with them being one game away from being able to qualify to Masters London. I think it's been really good.
I love watching this team, man. I love watching a team where you just have like such a obvious game plan and it's a good game plan. And we've been speaking about it. I mean, I've been speaking about it every single week. I feel like I watch them. It's just another good game plan to make the Phoenix look incredible. They are getting a little bit of a benefit of winning a lot of pistols at the moment, but they're also capitalizing off of that so well. Like their plans of making sure they get enough orbs. TMV touched on it earlier. They managed to, on the breeze for the bonus, they managed to have a Harbor and a Phoenix. That's kind of unheard of in terms of like the double ult threat. You also see like set game plans. I would like them to be a little more flexible with some of the game plans as much as I like them. My best example here was against MIBR on the breeze, where they expected MIBR to playing off-site all the time. So what they were going to do is they were going to save their Sova drone for when they use the harbor wall. You actually saw it like quite a few times. Like once they're trying to like fast flood in, they would have the Sova on site. He would use the Sova drone to just hit anyone that was pushing through, and they could kind of get that info, and obviously you can use the harbor wall against them by spamming. I think when a team is like playing aggro against you on A main, maybe you can sack that off and use the drone to get easier A main control, especially if you have like a Phoenix ult that could essentially do the same thing as your drone. So I'd like to see them maybe be a little more flexible, but I think it's also cool that they have such a plan and they're so ready to just stick to it no matter what. So I kind of, as much as I wanted them to use the drone like more flexible, it's cool that they're all just like so committed to the game plan.
That's also, I mean, they came in with the right game plan, right? Because MIBR were previously playing an extremely heavy retake style, offsite constantly. So yeah, they're just took a little while to figure out that it was very different from MIBR and going to be a pattern.
It was really nice to see like pretty much all of MIBR's rounds, if I recall correctly, were A main fights, A main wins.
They were.
And then as a result of the timeout, you can see a clear change to B defaults. Cyphers instead throwing the cage and cam, so they don't have to deal with A main in terms of like combat or like fighting it. They're just gonna like throw some util at it, like let that solve the problem, and then later on, because they conditioned it as well, they were able to like pop off of it. Like it's just nice to see. It was just very good adaptations for sure.
Isn't it such a crazy worry though that MIBR don't change their stuff around after a timeout as well? Holy shit! Yeah. But it is like stick on 100 Thieves that it's great stuff to see, and individuals as well, man, popping off. Asana's having great games, man. But he's also getting so many Phoenix ults. It's like you're gonna have you should be having a good game if you're getting like 4 Phoenix ults and a half.
Yeah, 3 base ults and a half on Friday.
Yeah, it's insane. They min max really well for orbs. They're like I would say they're the best at it at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
I loved.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
You can go.
I love the way they changed. They were playing like Asuna, Neon, and Timotino Phoenix, and through the regular stage, and they changed it now for playoff. And the spacing of the team, it's much better when Timo is playing the Neon and then Asuna it's going behind them. It works much better. Also, the breeze comp, I believe that most of teams are not sure they're not play against this kind of comp. It's like
Well, yeah,
they
yeah.
have only one smoker, and you have a lot of walls to compensate that. But the way that use the utility, like the smoke, so they have to use not so much, and they have to force the execs. If they don't get inside in the side, they will have a lot of problems. They do really, really well. And the other thing that I call my attention is Pang playing the Storm Surge. I think it's called the ability.
Yeah, the whirlpool, yeah.
It's insane. It's
Yeah, it's
hitting
strong.
that thing all the time. I don't see any other harbor hitting so many Storm Surge.
It's actually a kind of busted ability. Remember the saturate? I mean, the saturate obviously pops still pretty fast, but it does just pop so fast that you can't actually avoid being in it. And the sound cue that it gives you is like pretty big as well. They are using it well. The one thing that I've noticed is
it's easy to waste. I've seen a lot of
Yeah,
players
yeah.
get no value out of it though as well.
yeah, people think it's not that good ability. It's actually huge. I can't remember what the team was that was using it to default elbow on Breeze as well. That's pretty cool. Where you like throw it through the little window, because obviously you get the
Yeah.
sound cue from it. Like that's really big.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to dodge that. It's just a nice default. I think the other thing was like Vora. So they played MIBR on Fracture. I actually think MIBR had a bit of a better Fracture than them. They did win the double pistol, but the one thing that I liked from 100 Thieves was they worked out the MIBR setups very early. Like as soon as they saw the cipher, they would just speed up. They kind of realized they were playing heavy offsite. Like MIBR plays such an old school style of this map, especially this was actually the Americas style of how they used to play it, where they would just have trips and just play everyone offsite. So as soon as you saw like a camera, you would kind of know that they're playing offsite. But I just like that Vora pretty early on was on top of that. So every time they saw the cipher, they could recognize there was weak site and then just get onto the site. And there was some good mid rounds as well where they MIBR like pushed 3 behind A main when they were over towards B, and they made the call to push over towards spawn, and they took all that space. That's good signs, man. The mid rounding is getting good as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they had a worse Fracture, man. They got a little lucky on Fracture to win.
I mean, I want to save my quibble about that for the MIBR point, because I've got some problems with the way that MIBR play, but we could spend a long time about that. What I wanted to ask about 100 Thieves is, Zikz, you coached Asuna, and that I think the Asuna Timotino stuff has been like a big topic of conversation for us and on the broadcast, and RkT was just talking about it as well. How do you view him as a player when he plays Duelist? Obviously, he was playing actually quite a bit of Duelist when you were coaching him too, and he would like, you know, move around from being the flex player to being the primary Duelist, because they always have this slightly weird situation with Cryo in the past was the reason, but now it's flexible. Like either of them could do it, but it's more to do with presumably play style. So could you elucidate a bit on that?
Yeah, I mean, well, my version of 100 Thieves was a lot more like Asuna was our only hard entry duelist, so it was a lot easier for me to make the decision. Like I think between Timotino and Asuna, both can play the entry duelist kind of style, so they have more flexibility. I mean, I could really see it like working both ways, to be honest. If Timotino isn't finding success on Phoenix, I'm sure, you know, it makes sense that Asuna already plays KO on a bunch of maps. Like I'm sure he's going to be able to find opportunities, good timings, good supporting flashes. It makes sense. And I think Asuna can play really either side of it. So like when the debate kind of happened, Neon or Phoenix for Asuna, like in my head, I was like, I see so many games because of scrims and this kind of stuff. I just know that his Neon's insane, but I think sometimes wavering confidence definitely kind of hit a bit. And yeah, some games he just wouldn't really fully take over, and then that would kind of maybe sometimes get in his head. But with Phoenix, there's a lot less pressure to, I guess, play a super, super high confident game all the time. You can kind of like play off your teammates a bit more, add some supporting util. You can get creative with Phoenix walls. You can like use your brain a bit more other than just throw the Neon wall and then jump in between your wall and then, you know, call your shot with the dash and, you know, entry for your team.
Yeah.
He was very good on that role, but I think having Timotino on the team gives more flexibility that like if he's having like unconfident days or unconfident moments that, yeah, he's going to fry on Phoenix as well. So I think they have good flexibility right now for sure.
Let's move on to talking about the MIBR game. So just to pick up your talking point earlier, Sliggy, you were saying that they have a better Fracture MIBR. One of my concerns with them on Fracture was that their attack side ended up falling very limp towards the end, and I was looking at the stats at the end, and they played 12 rounds of because it was 13-11, right, the game. Maybe they only played 11 rounds, I can't remember. But anyway, so someone's getting kicked out of their apartment. So they played 12 rounds of the attack side, but they only ended up getting the spike down in 6 of those rounds. And I was watching some of them, like there was a round where Aspas dashes into sight, no follow-up, he's just under the A site for a while. Normally it's the other way around, where Zekken's in with like one player and the others aren't as well. I do agree that they in general had a better Fracture, but the final moments of Fracture, if I like, oh yeah, this is why they're going to lose, because this issue is recurring over and over for MIBR, where something about their ability or willingness to commit as 5 is lacking for them in really important situations.
They are on a different page a lot of the time as well. And as much as I'm saying that they had a better Fracture, I don't think it's a good Fracture. Like I will say again, I think it's like very one-dimensional. It's very readable for sure as well. But yeah, I can agree with the fact that they're just never on the same page. That was like a big problem in the MV game as well, where it's just like someone wants to leave the site, someone's running into the site, and you see this all the time where it's just like one person wants to fight, one person doesn't. They're just rarely together.
This is the round that Kurtz found it. I mean, Aspas survives for ages here and is presumably coming for the rest of his team to commit, but they're locked off behind the Brim Molly, and then they've got no Sands control. And did Dex try to jump in from Dish? I think maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few of these. There's another round as well, where like the 2 jump in from Dish, and the guys in A main are late, and I think Bang's like throwing a molly at the 2 guys that are coming through Dish as well. They need to clean up their, well, I imagine honestly this is probably the end of this 5, I would say. Then they probably make changes because it's just the easier fix, but it does just worry me. It feels a lot similar to like Vitality, where they gave them like so much freedom and they're just like, oh yeah, look at the players we have, they're going to be fine. It's like, bro, you need some kind of structure these days. I feel like they don't have that much structure. They play very loose.
They're a strange team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also. Oh, sorry.
Go on.
Oh, I also believe that the difference you mentioning a little bit ago, it's like 100 Thieves just try to plant the spike every single time. They just, I know MIBR play most, they find the weak side and all that, but 100 Thieves, the plan of the round is we get the spike on and we work around that. And MIBR, it's like trying to get the fights and go for the plant after. And it's a huge problem in this map, especially because a lot of the rounds it's like they maybe have an advantage, but the spike is not on, so 100 Thieves don't have to rush. They have time to work the rest of the map or get with the lurkers or all that kind of stuff. So I believe it's a lot of the responsibility of the spike were on Masino too. Sometimes planting. So reckless. They spam him a couple of times.
I mean, that
really
round that you're talking about was fucking insane. They had
Yes.
no holes control and they're planting for holes. I
main
was
plant,
watching
yeah.
it, baffled. It's like, how have you ever got yourself into that situation? I'm just kind of at a loss as to how the 2. I mean, Sliggy and Zikz, I'm going to need your help here. That having coached teams before, how do you get players that are clearly exceptionally good and have played in a lot of good good teams, good systems before, make such basic problems or make such basic errors in terms of how they're playing? Is it a case of like it feels like it should be somebody else's responsibility, or they just don't click, or what? Like, how do you have such bad rounds with such good players?
I put it down to structure, and people like I think a lot of their roles players don't properly play roles and they like to fight, and I just think they just put too much weight on the individuals actually being making good decisions. I think it's very similar to like some of the Vitality stuff where it's just like, yeah, these guys will be fine. But then actually like no one wants to go sit on a spike or do this stuff. Like I think everyone just wants to take fights as well in this team. And everyone thinks they're like great aimers, that all of the basics just get fully lost. But when that happens, you got to have structure and got to be like, mate, you're the guy. Like it was in our team with Scream and stuff. It's like, mate, I need people to shoot the recon for this guy. Like it's the boring crap, but you got to shoot the recon so that he can hold the choke. You got to sit on the spike. Like I need the people to do the most boring stuff ever. And if you don't have one player that does that, you're in so much trouble. So I'd put it down to structure personally. I think they're way too loose.
Yeah, it could be structure. I think that's pretty valid. I think as well, like when your players' instincts are off because things are hectic, that's like another big one. You're just not like really truly accounting for all the variables. Maybe he's just always planted there every time they've done the strat, but this time the variable is different. They don't actually have the A main space. They didn't like the guy that got picked outside, like because Tex got ran down A main that round. Like maybe Tex usually gets that space for free, so they're kind of autopiloting into it a bit. But yeah, I would say the other thing I noticed, I watched the MIBR vlog, and that game that they got destroyed by Envy, the takeaway was constantly like, guys, we need to make plans. We're not making plans. And they said that probably 100 times in the post game as well. Guys, we need to make plans. We're not making plans. And you made a great point. I think it was like 3 episodes ago, Sideshow, where this like idea of a bystander effect, if nobody's getting put the direct accountability to this person is in charge of making sure they make plans, or you have this responsibility on your team, like kind of that structure thing that Sliggy was talking about. It's like if things are too open and you're just saying, guys, we need to make plans, and everybody kind of perceives that as, okay, I'm going to keep focusing on myself because maybe my individual aim was bad, or I wasn't getting good fights, so I'm going to try to focus on good fights, then nobody's solving that aspect of it. But I will say, I think that MIBR, obviously, I mean, they got, 4 rounds against Envy? They did step up going into playoffs, but it's like too little too late is kind of the way that I see it. It's like they definitely improved. You could tell from their listen-in, and you could definitely tell from the second listen-in they did, I think it was against 100 Thieves, where it was just extremely, it got more hectic, but at the very least, they were like coordinating like multi-swings, fight right, and the details were off a bit. Actually, I have a clip for this now that I think about it. Like there definitely was improvements, but there was just so many like off moments or like whack moments from MIBR that it's too little too late is the best way to put it. This is a good example round. Here they're down in a 4v5, and we're not going to listen to the listen-in, but you'll see, for example, here, Zekin is dead calming the entire time, saying guys, we're going to fake the push spawn. We're going to look to fight Heaven here, basically. They call it triple swing going into Heaven, but the details are just slightly off. The first person in the front should always go super wide if you wanted to go back and play it back. Actually, no, let it play, because it shows the enemy POV. But it's like the first person should always go super, super wide from MIBR's perspective. And you'll see, because only one player goes, like he commits to his first duel, which is the Hell player. You'll see in King's POV, it's about to show here, only one person ends up on the screen in a situation where it should be 3 people hard swinging the angle and committing to the fight. Only one person effectively shows on the screen. So it's like I said, too little too late. They improved some things, but and if you look at the actual results of like rounds 1, it's all pistol losses, bonus losses.
Yeah, it's easy
a
to
lot
cope.
of gun round. Yeah, a lot of exactly easy to cope. A lot of gun round wins, majority gun round wins. I think even in the 100 Thieves series, if you're not counting bonuses, which you should count bonuses, but you get the point. It's like they did improve. It was not enough, and they keep getting caught off guard. That's like kind of the best way to put it.
Yeah,
a lot of just moments where they're getting caught as individuals.
They also do this thing where like they don't believe in the comeback sometimes, I swear, where they're just like 4 rounds are left in the half and they're like, well, let's just buy for every round here. And I've seen that multiple
the amount
games.
of times that they were on Rightful No Armor It was
Yeah.
really high.
It's just like, and dude, that's when you have like no belief fully. It's not like we can save. We know that our buy rounds are good. It's like, oh, we need to win all of these rounds and hope that one of these just lands because we're in trouble. And then they slow adapt as well. Like we said on the 100 Thieves, like when they were fighting A main, there's a timeout going in. They're probably going to change what they're doing, and they just keep fighting over towards A main. And at the same time, Mazzino, when they are fighting Tim, sometimes he put in the wall and then drops off sight, and then it's like, well, now you got no wall to retake. It's just crap.
Oh well,
they don't play
they
good
also
enough.
they got unlucky in one of those rounds though as well. I'm going to cope for them actually. Here,
Sure.
which was
someone needs to.
they had the A main fight, and then I think their adjustment coming out of a really dominant A main fight on defense was, oh, they're probably going to A split on us now because our door is really weak. Like if we fight A main super heavy, then our door's really weak. They're probably going to put like strong side through door. So they did like a big crunch with the harbor off barrier drop over towards A lobby. And the whole of 100 Thieves is just going B. And it's just, they played a B retake off the back of that. I can't remember if they won or lost. But they're trying to make the 500 IQ ahead of the game read on that. And,
but I would rather they
do.
do this kind of stuff and actually like push behind, because at least they're doing stuff together here, and there's like a clear plan.
Yeah,
I don't mind that shit when they have a clear plan.
Like I'm saying, I'm coping.
Yeah. No,
could have looked amazing.
It's nice to see when they have a plan.
I've got some narratives. That I want to test on you.
Go on.
These are community narratives. I haven't come up with them. I didn't invent them.
Sure.
Okay.
Push the blame to someone else, yeah.
First one is they've lost 5 playoff games in a row, including 4 qualification games to a... Well, this isn't a narrative. This is a fact.
Yeah, I know. It sounds rough.
5 playoff games in a row, including 4 qualification games to a global tournament. Are they chokers? Is that the narrative?
It could be. They lost the Envy match to get first seed.
Yeah. And then they got it anyway.
Yeah, kind of lucked into it.
But does it feel like they're choking in these games?
No, it just feels like they're not good enough.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. They're just not good.
Okay.
Simple as.
So, well, not these ones, but in kickoff, they feel like choke. They were two rounds away of getting the Masters to get Master Santiago.
Yeah, they were up 10-3 at some point or something, weren't they? And then they convert. That one was pretty rough.
Kickoff definitely more likely to go there. But I would say like this stage was.
For you.
Wait, are you lagging out? Am I lagging out? Someone's lagging out.
He's lagging out a bit, yeah.
No, I was gonna say I can understand the narrative for kickoff, but I think like this in stage 1 is just, it's been so rough from them that I don't want to shoot many bail because it's just been not great. Right, go mate.
Okay. Another narrative. I'm back, no lag. Here we go. Another narrative for you is that Verno is not an emotional leader for the team. What they need is an emotional leader who can really, carry the torch, the vibes guy.
I don't believe...
I'm seeing that one a lot.
Go on, RkT, you go.
I don't believe this is an emotional team at all. Except second, I guess the rest of the players are so chill in energy. You need an emotional leader with that kind of team. It's like if you have only one guy, it's like everyone is like, you have Aspas doing nothing, like in his chair, and you have the guy, the IGL screaming. It's like weird.
You're saying that they don't need one, basically.
I'm not sure, but
sure.
It's like it's like I feel like in another teams you see like, okay, the emotional leaders and the other players is like everyone getting a reaction. It's like, yeah, let's go, and they go up forward all together. And I don't feel that it's gonna happen with MIBR.
They're too nonchalant.
They are, for sure. But I think that does, and that kind of works both ways. But I think it's rare to find 5 players that don't want that. There's definitely players that don't want to get too overhyped, and they want to like keep composure and keep chilled. But I think to find 5 players, especially when players are like normally younger that are coming up, I think the majority of teams like to get the hype. Really, I think there's only rare players that kind of get it too excited from like the hype and stuff like that. I think these days you have way more players that would like someone on the team that gets hyped. So I don't know, but I don't know who brings the hype in this team apart from Zekken. But I don't think that's also Verno's issue. Like we have loads of IGLs that maybe aren't the hype person. Like is Boo on Heretics
Yeah,
a
I was
hype
gonna
person?
say Boo.
My guy shows no emotion when he's clutching. Like you
Yeah.
you don't need it. But if there's a team,
But
or if
Boo,
there's players
Boo
in your
has
team,
Gen.G. You know?
yeah, that's what I mean. It can be
yeah.
someone in the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, another narrative to throw at you. This is my last narrative. I'm all out of narratives after this one, so see how you feel about this one. I've been seeing a lot of people get heavy on the old Bren narrative. Aspas is a beta, and that's why they're not doing anything. And I think this has been powered a lot by seeing him playing with the op a lot and being like smoked off and not going for like an aggressive peak. I think it's also, I mean, you are seeing him play a little more passive than a lot of the other duelists a lot of the coaches right now are calling this like a timings-based meta. You know, you hear from a lot of the coaches like, we just want to stick to our game plan because the other teams, they're taking timings on us and like, you know, you just got to stay solid in your own game. Aspas doesn't do that kind of stuff. Is that a valid narrative that Aspas baiting is the problem?
I've always seen Aspas as the guy that's like, he's only going to take the good fights is the best way for me to put it. So, but the thing is too, like recently we've seen him probably entry more on this team than any other team that he's been on. That might just be my, now that I'm like kind of looking for it, I see it more often. But for example, like the Fracture, there was a Fracture like Flood round where he updrafted out of drop for his team to kind of like get the entry into sight. There's just moments like that I think you wouldn't see before, that he's putting more effort toward it. But I feel like it's like an old narrative. It feels like it was mostly a narrative that was formed around especially clutches, like how he played clutches.
Oh, well, yeah.
Like I will give that criticism. I don't think he played clutches to win, for sure. Because he was heavy on the side of, I just want to take the good duels. I want to punish the people that are making mistakes. And that was like kind of his play style for a very long time. And for our team, when we did play against him, we kind of had him red on that front and it was easy to play against. But yeah, I wouldn't say he's like one of the highest pressure duelists to play against in current meta for sure. Compared to all the people that are like taking a crazy amount of risk, taking lines on you, he's not like constantly walk pushing or being super, super crazy aggro, which is a pretty important facet of the meta, I think.
Yeah, I can agree with that because I think like this game here, he actually had a lot of impact with the attack op for sure. But I think when I look at like team fights are the most important they've ever been at the moment, especially if using Eternal Fire as like your go-to of like, damn, look at how many runs they win by team fighting. So like spacing and making sure that you can actually enter over towards the site with numbers is really important. I don't think this team does it well. I don't think it's a meta that suits him when you should look at it and think, damn, he's a second duelist. This should really, really suit him. But at the moment, it's all about numbers fighting together. And I do think that he prefers like a slower, methodical style and having as much time as he can to kind of play his own game. So I think it's one of those where team fighting is so important that I think he should be taking more risks, really. But at the same time, I think it's probably a little overblown because people aren't doing their roles properly. So I think it's easy to go back on an old narrative, like you're saying, like this. Because I do think that he does have these rounds where he has impact. He actually, got them so many fast picks on the attack side of Fracture here. But I do think like when it gets into some of these other situations, he has to go in with Zek and they should be fighting. But when I watch this team, I think that Mazzino is way more at fault than Aspas, personally. I think Mazzino is the main guy that when I look at a lot of the stuff, I'm thinking like, mate, just stop playing for yourself and play for the team. Like that's how I see it. Just be a roles player. That's where it is. And then just making plans. But again, it's so easy to just point fingers at people. But
yeah,
that's where I view it. I feel like he makes the most mistakes personally.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a weird meta because it's like you can see you can play double duelist, but you're not playing like in the same way you play a couple of years ago. I fully agree with the good fight. It's like sometimes you have to take the space, and I believe in that aspect. Second, it's much better knowing when to take those spaces. Even in the Ascent, playing with the Sova, you a lot of times you see the movement of Leviathan in attack, and he knows he can stay on side, for example on B, and he have to push a bit forward. Even when he's playing with the Soba, where it's usually okay, you stay on side and you save your util for retake, but you know he want to push forward, and in the other side you have Aspas like playing much more to that's good fight. It's like I stay here, this is a good position for the operator, I will wait the contact here, and we play the retake after. And I think that's the problem. It's like the double duelist is like they should fit for them, but they're not. Their style of the game is not fitting for them.
Yeah, they just don't fight well together.
Yeah.
So that is like their main problem if you look at everything. Like
And you've said they want a roster move. So
well, I could understand. It's the easy way out right now.
yeah,
It is, yeah.
Yeah. No, I can absolutely believe it. I do want to move on to the next team and kind of pose a question. Was MIBR or Crew more of a disappointment in this playoffs? Because, obviously MIBR, there's like great reasons to be disappointed. They were, number 1 seed, and then they're out, and they're supposed to be, I mean, I don't know that I'd necessarily call them a super team, but they're certainly, of that ilk. And then on the other side of things, Crew, they were less expected to be in the position that they were in, but they don't want to map. They lose to G2 and NRG, two really good teams, but we didn't really see that version of Crew that we were all so excited about at the beginning of the stage.
No, we got catfished, man. we did. We got catfished by their Lotus for sure.
Yeah.
Because their Lotus made them look really, really good, and then other maps they had core stuff, and they were playing well together. But then I think not picking Lotus in the NRG game is a little questionable for sure. Seems that's been your number 1 go-to. You might have lost a lot of confidence losing it, but it's still by far your best map. So that kind of worries me. And then just like, I feel like they're a little too predictable, and at the same time, I see them maybe not taking as much space, and similar to MIBR, like not fighting together. It's like a couple of times on Haven where like they need to fight back a C and like no one's pushing through back a C. It's like, guys, you got a Phoenix. There's one round where they Phoenixed all. The Phoenix went to back a site, and then everyone else just stays at the front of default. It's like, guys, take back a C. Like he's actually just made you all this space. Like I need you to fight together, and they're not doing that. They give them the space, and then they're just stuck in the middle and they wait to get wrecked. And it's just like, dude. But I think in terms of your question, I think Crew is a way bigger disappointment just because of how insane they looked for the first 3 weeks. And it was due to being able to play Lotus, obviously, so much. But then to not pick it is madness.
Yeah, I think that was when we were talking about Crew early on, I was thinking like, man, this could be the team that either does really well or just completely overcooks everything. Because like Sadok, I guess, is kind of known for that in recent times, like kind of overcooking on the comps and this kind of stuff. And I feel like the not picking Lotus was their first big overcook in my brain. That's like, if you're so good at a map, like, and you don't pick it, and that's the map that you've looked consistent on, that's kind of crazy.
Did they think maybe the NRG would pick it?
Or
that it would be
they
like guaranteed map
I think
3?
they were thinking map 3, and then
You reckon, yeah.
Yeah, and then outside of that, it's I think maybe there was some thought of like, you know how Purex had the approach of like, whenever they play against NRG, they're trying to change something, give a new layer, because they're known as like a prep team. It's like, as a result, maybe Crew has that kind of logic going into it of like, they're going to hard anti our Lotus. Our Lotus has kind of been like faltering a bit. We don't want to get hard antied. We want to surprise them. And then it just ends up being they don't even play. Like when teams say play their own game, like their own game, like this is like the best representation. Yes, this is the best representation of you played into exactly what your opponent wants to not play on your super map, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's rough.
Dude, 80% win rate. They play it 5 times, 80% win rate. The only time they lost was to a G2 where they lost double pistol, and it was like a 13-11. How can you not pick this map? It's the only time you're winning best of 3s.
Would have been incredibly close, even if they lost it. Like they still would have given NRG a great game, even if NRG do win that map.
Yeah. Also in the draft, NRG bans the 2 maps they lost in the first series in the group stage against them.
Yeah.
It's like so good for them. It's like no Lotus, no split. It's like, great, let's go.
Yeah, this one was bizarre. It feels as well like if Neon does die, which might be an overreaction, but if Neon does die, whoa, this team is going to be the hardest hit out of anybody.
Sure. I mean, it kind of looked like they were playing on the Neon enough in the NRG game. If I'm honest, he was getting annihilated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is one of the teams that get hit by it the most. I think they gotta find some new identity, and I don't know what that's gonna be because this was a big part of it.
Yeah, I had a good clip example. Like this is a good example in my head. It's exactly the round that Sliggy was talking about. You can play the clip, but this is the round where they Phoenix all through Garage. I don't think they leave anybody even to protect his body, by the way. On top of that. But they scale hard into backside. Silence actually doesn't use any util here when he jumps into backside. And then on top of that, I get it. They didn't hard scale into backside, so we're gonna have to play this clip twice. They didn't hard scale into backside, but then they have this like front sight freeze. Could you go to the minimap as well? Because this is driving me nuts. Like, Silence is the one that goes in garage window as well. So like they're like trying to figure out how are we gonna refight backside, given that we just lost our Phoenix ult. Our Phoenix ult takes timing into garage window. We have no real util to refight backside. So now we're just stuck front side in a 4v5, while our Phoenix takes the garage timing. It's like it's just brutal, man. Like I feel like before this team would be so composed. They would probably throw up a Phoenix wall on the cross, walk around front site, reflash into backside, at least get a good team fight going. But like all of them are kind of like freaking out internally is what it kind of looks like.
Did Dante waste his slide early on? Because normally they would take back sight there with the Neon slide. And I think he did eventually use it by wrapping around the box after they'd already missed the timing. It's very odd.
It's just the composure out of Crew, you could tell is just not there anymore. They used to be like one of the best team fighting teams and like have the most clarity in these kinds of moments. I mean, I know what ended up happening here was you probably didn't see it because the minimap's kind of blocking it, but the Omen blind did come on really perfect timing from Energy to kind of stuff them. So a front sight freeze was probably always going to happen, but nine out of 10 times they just throw the Phoenix wall across the logs angle, so you can just walk up to the angle and reflash together even with the Phoenix ult, take all the backside space. But they just kind of skip so many steps. They make it 10 times more hectic than it needs to be. And they just used to convert these kinds of scenarios. And it's just like the calmness and composure in those moments were not really there.
They're too big of rounds to lose at the beginning. I did like to give them a little bit of bail here. They did call a timeout straight after this, and then the next round actually went C and took back a site. So that was cool that the coach spoke about the right stuff. But dude, you got to capitalize. It's too early in the game to make these kind of mistakes. You got to capitalize. You can lose.
Can I say though, I don't feel as bad about Crew, even though they've played worse in playoffs, I guess, than MIBR, because I feel like the teams that they played against are the teams that are going to go to like they're the two teams that are going to be in the grand. Well. Yeah, they can both be in the grand finals, can't they? G2 and NRG. Because NRG will go through lowers and G2 will go through uppers. I just think they've been playing nuts at the moment, G2 and NRG. So it's not unlucky in that sense, because like if you want to make it to London, you have to be able to beat 2 out of 3 of the teams that are going to go to London. That seems pretty reasonable. But MIBR losing to 1100 Thieves, I think, was... even though Crew did not play well, I was left... more impressed by Crew's opponents than mad at Crew.
Sure. Yeah.
I
can get on board with that.
It's good cope for sure. without a doubt. I have one more topic that I need to talk about because it's so important. I keep seeing it in blowout games, and there was a lot of blowout games. This buy on the second round from Crew, I think, is the most illegal behavior of all time. I think if you are down 11-2 and this is what your bonus is going to have double Bulldog, Guardian, Marshall. Like, I feel like they have to have greedier buys in this. When you're down 11-2, like, you have to win out. You have to go for Vandals and, like the classic FPX buy at least. Like, something more greedy than this that you think you can convert a bonus with. I've seen this from a few teams. I think it was this week and last week. But you can make a comeback happen, at least if you're always on Vandals, Phantoms, Odin, something. But I feel like they just have to be a bit greedier here.
To kind of expound on this, the point being that you want to take a slightly more risky round 14 in order to have a better chance of converting round 15 and onwards.
Exactly, yeah. And if you want like Odin, you want Op in your next rounds, and those people can buy Ghost, or sheriff, whatever, like bandit, whatever your preferred gun is. And then the other people have to have rifles. Like, it's just crazy to see not even one rifle, double bulldog. Like, you're almost always going to lose that third round. Like, you'd have to have some magic happen in the round to really like get something going.
I assume you think that this would be a fine buy if the score was like 6-6 or something.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But when it's a blowout game and you have to take risks, and then seeing them play it out like it's a normal game is like a little autopilot, I guess, is the way to put it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about their opponent, NRG. NRG have got the opportunity to do the same thing as Team Heretics, where they go all the way through the lower bracket. I guess Team Heretics actually even got an opportunity to lose in the upper bracket first, whereas NRG just got plonked straight down here and are now 2-0 with some like pretty decisive wins as well.
Crazy.
They have stomped.
Yeah.
They have stomped.
Dude, I came into this and I was like, oh, I'm not an NRG believer. I don't think we've seen that much good. And then they're just popping everyone. I'm like, oh, crap, man. I'm really on the wrong side of this. But this is me coping as well. I also don't think they've been properly tested at all. Like, I could put a lot of flaws in the teams that they're playing, for sure. So there's that as well. I'm excited for the 100 Thieves game because at least I'll know that they played one game where they were properly tested. But they have also just flipped that switch, NRG, where it's just like, okay, now we're going to play properly. And it's like, oh shit, they look incredible. Do they actually look incredible? As much as I think the other teams are like fucking up, they look so good, man. Like individually as well, they all fight together. The comms are good. They're making good plans. It just looks, it looks like the team that won champs. It makes sense.
Yeah, they didn't show their Haven at all. Go on, RkT. Yeah.
No, the speed on Haven was amazing against Crew. The flooding speed was, I know they're flooding, but they always there super fast, and we're not usually expecting energy playing so fast those flood retakes, and they are super clean also. I believe Crew had problems against in the Haven also because of that, because when the other team is playing so fast, it's like the adaptation it's a lot harder, because when we saw it playing in another instance, they usually can rearrange and try to play according to the round, but in this case it was impossible. Energy was just going forward, the utility was perfect, they're playing really nice.
Their game plans coming in have been clean too. The Breeze game that they played against Crew was very clear, simple game plan that they executed on. I think their map pool is also really good right now. They've started leaning away from Pearl, but teams still, like Crew still banned it against them. I don't know if is it Crew's perma? Maybe it is, I'm not sure. I don't think I remember Crew playing Pearl.
No, it's Fracture Crew perma.
Oh, right. So they
Fracture and Pearl.
Who hijacked Crew's map veto and ran it into the ground? That is crazy in that game. But their split looks a little bit dodgy, and their Pearl hasn't been as good as it was previously. But every other map
it's still a really good map pool.
And they haven't shown their Ascent. I bet they've got a good Ascent. It's just everything about Ascent makes me think that NRG would be great there.
The roles are just, they're suited for it. One of the better Odin maps, even though you can't spam B, you can still spam short.
I was asking Athena about this on the broadcast, though. Would you rather Ethan KO or Kiko Phoenix? Or, like, what would you play on? Maybe you play double Senti or something. Maybe you do something completely
Ethan's the only player that I'm in for KO, to be honest. I think any other player, I would just say I would prefer Phoenix. I think his KO is just the best in the world.
I agree.
Yeah.
I do agree. I think that also the Brock Odin was insanely high impact. Again, it feels like a few matches, it was kind of like a bit flat. Didn't get that much value, but man, did it get value in these matches.
He saw one person in that
rough.
ace clip.
Yes.
Dude, it's such a demoralizer as well. There was like a 1v1 against someone, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was against a Crew player on Haven, where he's just like
FURIA.
on A. And it's just like he's just spamming and just slowly walking out, and the other guy's like, "What the fuck?" I think it's against Nerve maybe.
Nerve throws his hands up. He's like, "Man, what is that?" Man.
Like if you don't insta swing him and you tuck into the box, he just owns you because he just slowly just creeping around the corner, getting a spam closer and closer to you. It's like a laser beam, and you're just tied down. It's messed up. Man, I it's nice to watch this. When they play this level, it's so nice to watch them.
They stepped up big time. I like that RkT said the thing about the retakes. Their defense feels much different for sure. They're taking way more fights. They're being very proactive on the map. I have a good clip from Ethan taking a bit of a risk in a round and like kind of seeing that like flow on effect. I think that like when we talked about that cycle earlier of like where teams are like too team play oriented, I feel like energy is usually in that part of the cycle. And then when players get a bit more individualistic and they feel comfortable on this team and confident, they look lights out. So like, I think it's here. Yeah, you can play this out. So FURIA pushes back Mata off of the A line. He falls back fully. And we see here, they kind of like trade out position. So Ethan goes into the slant angle or whatever people call this nowadays. There's no slant here anymore. But then this, I mean, and this is part of FURIA's like composure and details too. Because you'll see Alim actually run rotates here in a second out of the angle. So it's like, but the deep insert positions and taking a little bit of risk in the round is actually very, very nice from Ethan. And that's like part of the reason why they're playing so gambly in these rounds is you'll just see these deep lines from NRG be a bit more risk heavy. And then they'll just find the right place to stack every single round. And like, obviously this is a little bit FURIA as well, but at the same time, like Ethan taking this slight risk to like push forward, get the extra like audio range by his positioning.
Yeah.
It's just setting them up for a much more aggressive, gamble-heavy defense that they were kind of like very passive before, not taking a lot of these risks, and having that individual team play balance. So nice to see, man.
EMEA wanted to talk about this round on the broadcast as well because he said that he had scrimmed against NRG and found that their C setup was just impossible to get into. And because you can't be default against it very well because the Odin is spamming you through the door at Mound and it's just whacking you as you be default. And then if you try to go into C, if you throw a bunch of util to try to clear pillar, Scuba hops on top of the box and can headshot you as you run towards Brock. So Brock can just sit there like a heavy weapons guy, yada da 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 yada kaboom, and then Scuba's got his headshot line to be able to defend him from the back of C. So they've got something nice cooking on that map.
It's always been like it's been so hard to take C with double blockers when you have Viper Vice, then you add the Odin in. It's just like fuck, man. What are we meant to do? But I think these days you got to go A now because I think aggro A is like I see teams. I think every person that I've seen set up aggro A. 10 spot by Rubble, dude. I've never seen players get anything out of that spot anymore. There's just too many angles when you peek left and right that you kind of get seen fast just because of the new you can walk out of A now. Yeah, I think that you're just way too open to angles now that I'm not sure you can hold A from that pause anymore.
Young was like a chamber on chamber.
Unless it's a chamber, they can TP away.
All right, let's talk about some predictions and get into what's coming up and start to close out the show. The viewers got to predict a couple of matches from last week. In fact, a ton of matches from lots of different regions. So we're going to have a look into the viewer report card and see how good you guys were with the predictions. I don't feel like this week was crazy upsets. We had that. It's been and gone. Now we're back into serious, predictable, normal Valorant again. Surely. Yeah. So last week's Pacific match of the week was PaperX versus T1. You guys correctly chose PaperX. 80% of you, in fact, correctly chose PaperX, and you were right in that one. The next one was Team Heretics against Eternal Fire, which I don't think was as much of an easy one. And 59% of you also got it correct, with Heretics being able to win the rematch there against Eternal Fire. Then the Americas match of the week was FURIA playing against LEVIATAN. And in fact, you were incorrect here, Timmies. You went with FURIA at 54%. I can't remember what we went for. What was the?
I think we all went for FURIA as well. To be honest, mate.
Really?
Yeah,
we guaranteed.
Yeah, that sounds like
guaranteed it as well. Oh my lord, you were. I'm so sorry, Timmies. This one wasn't on you. You were misled.
And then we had, reasonable.
We had a bonus match of the week as well, which is Crew playing against G2, and 61% of people believing in the recent form of G2, just looking too good, and you were correct. So final grade of the week, what did you get? An A-, not bad. Wingman running away with the trophy. 23 and 16 for 2026. You're a bit better than a coin flip, viewers. That's not bad. That's not bad.
You've been there before. Yep.
Better than a coin flip. I'll take that every time.
Yeah. Might have been worse before, yeah.
There are 2 matches to predict this week in Americas, and second one is going to be match of the week. But to start with, we've got LEVIATAN playing against G2, upper bracket final, and we've all gone for G2. Is it a guarantee? Literally it is, but
I don't
It's
think
not
so.
a guarantee,
No.
but with how G2 are playing, I'll be honest, it's a 70-30.
70-30, a Barla's Law upset game.
Do
Yeah.
they've shown their stuff as well, man. They've shown their stuff. They've shown their stuff. They're gonna accidentally put the foot off the pedal. I promise you. I think I feel great about G2 after watching them. There is a little bit of individual stuff taking them over, making it a little easier, but I don't know, man. It's that time of year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Lev perma Lotus, G2 perma Fracture. So like G2 pretty much gets whatever map they want, and it's probably gonna be Breeze. So yeah.
Yeah.
Not confident in Lev's game plan on Breeze, but I mean they have upset potential for sure. I mean, they
don't think they-
definitely caught off guard MIBR. Like I said before, G2 has been kind of leaning into individuals. There's a world where Lev kind of surprises G2, catches people early. Baby Bay has been kind of towing the line a lot when he plays Vice, as an example. Playing really, really like aggressive angles with the flash. They play very individualistic. They're not playing jiggles anymore. They're playing like off angles. Like just all these little details makes it possible for Lev to catch them off guard, for sure. But I still have G2.
Do
No
you
matter
think you don't think that some things in the Brace could be fixed? Because I don't like the game plan of Lev on Brace, especially the strong holding from the harbor from King. But I also at the same time that it could be fixed and could not be so bad. Could improve a lot, especially having so many the operator as a game plan. The way they take control in B, for example, with the Sova and the Omen, you have a lot of places where you can use the Omen in off angles and especially forward positions, like when you go to boxes that is not usually expected. I don't know. I also believe G2 because that's why I read, but I believe they have some things funny to do on Breeze for sure.
Yeah, I can get on board with it, but they're also 0-4, and it's like the fixes that they should have had on this map should get a little better.
I think
It's like I wanted to see the signs already, basically.
Exactly. To see them do the exact same game plan, going from Loud to Furia, was kind of why I was like, okay, we didn't really like change the game plan, and we're still playing the same way. Like they clearly think that that's the correct way to approach it, and they're just losing their harbor wall every round still. So
My big thing in this game is I want to see G2 actually play Ascent or Fracture. Like I want to see what they've got up their sleeve on those maps.
I think Lev will pick Ascent probably, so I think you probably will. I think we will see that. Dude, Lev are just a map down, man. They're gonna lose Lotus, or they're either gonna have to pick the permaban of Lotus, or they're gonna have to play Breeze. They're 0-4.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They're losing to worse teams than G2 on this map.
Yeah.
It's rough.
They'll have to win like a really good map in the middle of the pools at least to be able to come away with a win. And they have to hope that G2 don't actually have like a really good map hidden of Ascent too. Yeah. If that is where they go. I mean, I think they could go to Split too.
It was map 3 in that series, so they were willing to play it for sure.
Yeah. Okay. They're down to float it. All right. This next game is our match of the week though. Because this one is what defines which team qualifies to Masters London. So it's NRG playing against 100 Thieves here. And we do actually have 100 Thieves. Believe us, Sliggy in the house representing the Thieves.
Yeah.
You've been smoking the Doom Bros crack pipe. He's on board with his EMEA coaches. Okay.
I did my pick'ems ages ago, and I just had them getting third no matter what. So I gotta back it. I mean, the more I watch them, the more I feel good about it. They do have good starts at the moment. They are good, man. They are good. NRG hasn't been properly tested. It's closer than we think, but I know they're underdogs. Like they're for sure underdogs, but I don't know. I've seen enough that I can believe in this one. Someone's got to believe in them. I'm here again, just like with G2, where I'm like, oh yeah, they're the best. I'm here at that point of 100 Thieves belief. I'm like, surely this time, right? Dude, I like how they play, man. The coaches are doing great shit out there. Give me another good game plan. Just one more good game plan.
Just one more.
One more good game plan, please.
We were talking about the cycle of 100 Thieves fans. Is it more 100 Thieves to lose this game rather than the last game when you're like on the verge of qualifying?
It's more...
Just give your fans the most hope possible.
Yeah, it's
this game. This game for
it's
sure.
for sure. It's for sure this one. Yeah, it's actually
speaking
perfect.
from experience here.
Yeah, it really
definitely
is.
this one.
Yeah. This one's tough though. This one's like, I don't know. You're messing with the big boys.
I think people are going to be more high on NRG because of the score lines of the other games, but I promise the other teams they've played have looked really crap.
Yeah,
So it's closer than what people think.
I'll kind of echo that. I think that NRG. So I was critical last week on like the defensive team fighting, and they stepped it up big time this week. But still, like the accuracy of like the fights they're taking isn't always perfect. But because they're taking fights together, it's like it ends up being good, if that makes sense. So like, is there a world definitely that 100 Thieves could come away? 100%. I think the 100 Thieves thing is like that cycle we talked about, right? It's like 100 Thieves in my head is like a little too team play oriented, to the point that if you guys remember the Osboss Ace, do you guys remember that? Where it's like Asana's in such a deep mindset, or not an Ace, sorry, it was a 1v3, sorry, 1v3, where Asana is so deep into a mindset of like team play that it ends up being, they just kind of fumble the bag in some like really off scenarios that those are like kind of my worries for 100 Thieves. I think their general play, their game plans are great, but some of these like hectic late round scenarios is kind of where Energy's experience, I kind of have those guys favored.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep, it'll be a good game though.
It's a banger. It's a banger game for the
banger.
last spot. It's a really good game for the last spot.
Yeah. We've kind of been robbed of banger games in Americas this week. This week there was a lot of shite.
It's
There was a lot of
shit.
shite.
Yes.
No, that's on us. We set it up that we're just like, man, the playoffs, it's going to be close. It could go anyway. And actually, it's just the most convincing
Yeah,
team knows
here's the
seen.
round. Here's the round, by the way. It's like Austin is so focused on team play here that he never takes his own individual duel. He just hard hold on off angle. And there's just, yeah. It's just one of those things. It's like the late round scenarios. Like, I'm just worried for 100 Thieves on that front. But yeah, definitely. In terms of like this playoffs, I thought it was going to be the most competitive playoffs of all time.
Should have been amazing.
It's just stinker after stinker, nonstop. I think the most competitive games were from MIBR, and we weren't even that high on them. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it was a rough watch for sure.
I mean, it's a good job the crowd didn't turn up. They wouldn't have got the money's worth.
Yeah, they actually would have all been disappointed. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's wrap things up there and go into our final segment, most important segment, Wyatt's Weekly Award.
Wyatt's Weekly Award. It's Wyatt's Weekly Award. And I'm gonna fix this.
Presumably hour 5 of recording those, and the oxygen deprivation had hit Kurt and Wyatt there. My Wyatt's Weekly Award winner this week is Benji Fishy, man. It's the Benjamin Fish himself. He's a UK player, getting to Masters London, representing. I mean, after Boaster got eliminated, it was looking bad in terms of British representation at the event. Benji has already made it. Won in the EMEA. That's also a fabulous accomplishment from him. First time that Heretics have been able to do that. But there is an opportunity for Kiko to also do it from NRG. That would be sick. And No Man is also... Yeah, No Man's also... I mean, he's... the thing is, No Man's a confusing one because on the global contract database, he's listed as like he is a resident player in China. So he's officially like signed himself up as being a Chinese Hong Kong player. But yeah, he went to Exeter University and like lived in Wales for
he's
the majority
from
of his
Wales,
life
right?
and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, he's Welsh. So he's also a hometown hero when he comes over to Masters London. But I'm going to give it a Benchy Fishy this week for accomplishing something great in EMEA and running the whole lower bracket.
Yeah, I mean he's great, man. We did like a 10-minute session of glazing him earlier.
Yeah, we did.
It's also true. He's been great to watch, man. I love the like especially just like the reactions as well. You just see how much he wants it. It's like for sure the most hype I've seen him. Like every single round, no matter who wins it, he's just off his table just shouting. So it's been really fun to watch. There's a couple of UK coaches as well. Obviously, we've got Nilzinho, Weber, Powell.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, Amy.
Is
he gonna be there?
Next week we will know all of the teams that have qualified for Masters London. So as you would expect, there'll be top 10 players. Keep an eye out for that list as well, because we'll have a community list that you can add people to, and we'll be doing predictions and all sorts, ranking the teams, all of that good stuff that you come to expect before a Masters. And we may have a big announcement coming soon as well. So if you're headed to Masters London, if you're in the area during that period of time, then keep an eye out on the Plat Chat socials and tune into the next episode to see a surprise coming in your direction. But as for this week, we're done. We're out. We're finished. Thank you for joining us, Zikz and Sliggy and RkT. RkT, thanks for giving us your analysis, your insights.
Thanks for the mic.
Yes. Subscribe to the channel and we'll see you next week.